It's been a very long off-season. Teams have changed, sponsors have changed, colors and all, but one thing that hasn't, they like to mash the loud pedal. Green flag is out on the 2015 NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series season.
iRacing is the ideal platform for these broadcasts because we have the best racers, the best online racers in the world, and we have such a variety of racing, from NASCAR to Grand Prix style racing, sports car, endurance racing. We do it all.
Since 2010, the iRacing.com World Championship Grand Prix Series has been the absolute pinnacle of road racing in a simulated form. Great start then by Yakoda from the front. They're packing up behind number one. They're going to be 4 wide as they come down into turn number 1 for the first time. Will they make it through that first corner? You can see them funneling through the center S's. It looks as though everyone has just about made it through. We have got ourselves some contact though, Rachel.
Side by side going into turns 3 and 4. Humpy's got the advantage, but Ottinger's not going to.
Oh, he got into him!
Ottinger gets into the 58, turns right into him, and that ends Ottinger's run.
We do a lot of live broadcasts now. Every Tuesday is NASCAR night, so on alternating Tuesdays we do the Peak Antifreeze Series, and on the other Tuesdays the B-Class Series, which is the Xfinity cars, and sometimes we'll even do some short track racing depending on the schedule. Every other Saturday we do the iRacing World Championship Grand Prix Series, so the best road racers we have. And we also broadcast some special events, including the Endurance Championship, which is part of the Road Warriors Series. So we broadcast the Daytona 24, the Sebring 12-hour, we'll do the Watkins Glen 6-hour, several other races along there. And then, of course, the iRacing Pro Racing Champions, which is usually our biggest and most watched event of the year.
That is short track racing, and that's how awesome this sim is, Joe. That's something you see on TV on highlight reels, and we just saw it here, live.
We invite iRacers who are real-world racers. They compete every December. Guys like Alex Gurney, Justin Wilson, Scott Speed, Ron Capps, the list goes on. Really some big name drivers from all major forms of motorsport. It's really neat to see them get together and race together.
See Laughlin up top, down to the ball, gets turned! Laughlin gets turned! Caution is out foul at the front of the field!
The easiest place to find the broadcast is on our website, iRacing.com/live. So you can find some of our races on fanschoice.tv as well. A nice place to find iRacing broadcasts. You can also find it at mrn.com and peakauto.com.
Good evening, sim racing fans from across the globe, and for round number 3 of the NASCAR iRacing.com Pro Series, we welcome you to iRacing Live and LSRTV, the voice of sim racing, as we come to you from the Homestead Miami Speedway tonight, getting set for basically hitting the 1/3 point of the 2015-2016 Pro Series season, and kicking it off, looking for our 3rd different winner in 3 races. And we welcome you to the LSRTV broadcast tower, where you'll find myself, Jacob Seelman, alongside Evan Pasoko, Justin Rosenau, and Brian Macklin tonight, as we get set to bring you 250 miles, Evan, of probably some of the most exciting racing of the season. I love Homestead Miami personally. This is a great track on the iRacing service. You get multi-groove racing. You get people looking throughout the course of a green flag run to find any sort of grip you can get. Dynamic track surface is going to rubber up in different spots, and we're going to have what I think is going to be a knockdown, drag-out battle tonight over the course of this race to decide a winner. We've already seen two different winners in Cody Bias and Brad Davies. We're looking for number 3 tonight.
And we saw at Texas that these guys went green all the way start to finish. Well, Homestead can provide exactly that. It's a toss-up. We can go green all the way, and we can see fuel strategy be a big part of this race as it was in 2014, or you can get a couple of guys in trouble, and it can change the complexion of the race. But the big thing is, because we will see so much green flag racing here tonight, that track is going to be a big thing to talk about. Guys talking about tight conditions in the center, a little bit loose off, the fuel strategy. It's all a big factor. This is a driver's race, and as you said, Jacob, the drivers are saying the exact same thing. This could be one of the more exciting races on the season.
And Justin Rosenau, you talk about drivers that have no shortage of excitement to produce, and we've seen that in the Speedco Chevrolet, the number 88 out of the High Performance Motorsports, and the Team Alliance of Josh Berry, who has been close but no cigar through these first 2 races of the season. Is tonight the night that Barry shakes the monkey off his back and goes to victory lane in this Pro Series? He leads the points, but he wants a win to establish himself as the true favorite for this championship.
You know, and he is kind of a fan favorite as well. You know, the one ride with Junior Motorsports or Richmond in the NASCAR Xfinity Series. You're also talking about several races in the Junior Motorsports late model stock car. And really, Josh Berry has all the tools to put it together. And all he has to do is find that little bit of speed. I mean, we're not talking much, maybe just a couple hundredths, if that, per lap. And he can easily assert himself as the dominant car. And he was right there at Texas, especially later into the tire run. And tires will be a huge factor tonight. They're really saying somewhere around 60% of your fuel run will just be trying to hold on to the tires and hope nobody comes down to pit road. So we may see a race like we've seen at Texas where it's going to be a lot of guys on different strategies. It's going to be a little tough to figure out who's going to become the hunter and who will be the hunted, but I think Josh Berry can certainly get it done tonight.
Yeah, and he's got some real-life experience at this racetrack as well. Made an Xfinity start for JRM in 2014 at Homestead, Miami. I think he had Ragu colors on board that night. But Barry, no shortage of potential opportunities for success tonight. And Brian Macklin stepping up from pit road into the driver analyst's chair for the evening. You like this track, and you and the rest of us in this booth have seen how much excitement it can produce both behind the helmet and from up here in the tower. And I can promise the fans that are watching one thing: this will be a show tonight. In whether it's over the course of a long green flag run or if we get a late race caution and set up a wild restart to the finish, it's gonna be wild.
Yeah, I've got to tell you, this is one of my favorite tracks. It's really a shame that we only get to come to this track once a year, and it's really a shame that NASCAR only comes to this track once a year because it provides some of the best racing that you're going to see anywhere. And now that we have this new dynamic surface and the way the track is working now, I've ran a couple of races already this week in the iRacing official series, and you can actually run up near the wall in turns 1 and 2. You can get right up against it and be on the edge of out of control and actually be fast up there. And that's the first time that we've been able to do that here on iRacing. So it's going to make this race a lot of fun. You're going to see these guys getting real close to the wall. It's going to be interesting to see if they get too close and if it ends up biting them. And when that happens, if you've got somebody right on your bumper, they're going to have to try to avoid you, and that could create a lot of chaos if that happens.
And you want to talk chaos? Well, let's take a look at it from the driver's seat, Evan, because as always, we get to have a little bit of fun, and we get to go on board for a lap guide around this 1.5 mile Homestead Miami Speedway. And, we've all said it, and I think we've all used this word wild. That's what this track is.
You talk about unique racetracks. Homestead's a 1.5, but it's unlike any other 1.5 intermediate on the sim. So with that, as we get set to embark on round 3, Homestead is normally the championship race, but it's round 3 and 9. Let's hop behind the driver's seat, take a ride on board with Kyle Putz, behind the wheel of the number 12 Brian Blackford Racing Ford Fusion.
Hello everybody, my name's Kyle Putz. Welcome to the Homestead Miami Speedway, the site of round 3 of the iRacing.com Pro Series. Now Homestead's one of my favorite tracks, so we'll quickly jump out onto the track. Exiting pit road, you gotta launch box best that you can without spinning the tires. We gotta take this pit exit road all the way around, which it gets very difficult considering the car is set up for the banking, and it's very flat down here, so you gotta be sure not to slide around, don't heat up the tires too much. Get as good of a run off there as you can because we'll be merging with green flag pit stops. I'm sure we'll see them. It's a big track. If there's a lot of wrecking, I'll be kind of surprised. Down into 3 and 4 here, just on the outlap, we'll run the bottom. You got to make sure that you can get off turn 4 as quickly as you can. So heading down into turn 1, we're gonna let off right at the caution light there. We'll bring it down to the bottom. There's actually 2 options down here that I'm gonna show you. Get back on the throttle about halfway through the corner. Car's going to want to slide around a little bit, but just hold the wheel straight. You'll get out of there pretty straight. Watch the bump off turn 2. Go down into turn 3. We get off at this white line. Use a little brake to get the car to turn. If you don't, I've been sliding up the track all week. I don't know if others have been doing that, or it could just be the track, could be the surface model. Off turn 4, the straightest that you can. After a little while, you'll see a little bit of wheel spin out of there. Now here's option number 2 down in turn 1 and 2. Take the high lane. With this dynamic track, the bottom lane is going to get heated up really quick, and the run that you can get off the top makes up for all the time lost on the bottom. And from what I found in testing, it's about 2/10 quicker. So we'll try the top in 3 and 4. It's not, I personally won't really be running it if I don't have to. There's a big bump that you saw right there that can shoot into the wall, so you got to be careful. And the runoff isn't as great as you can get off of turn 2, but it's good enough that on old tires, if the bottom lane's slipping and sliding too much and you need just a little bit more grip, you can make up some time up there. Back down to the bottom in 1 and 2. You'll see at the start of the race, this is where everybody will be until it does start to get rubbered up. Watch the bump off turn 2 every time. You can miss it on the top side and on the bottom side. We're a little too quick for pit entry there, so we'll come around next time. Once again, use the brake to turn down here. If you're not turning on entry in turn 3, you're just going to slide up, and it's going to be especially dangerous if you got somebody racing you on your outside. So back down into turn 1, we'll run this high lane. Normally if you're making a pit stop, you'll be on the bottom because you don't want to have to go around again, especially the later on in the run. The longer you stay out, more time you lose coming out. So we're going to be making a pit stop here. We'll be bringing it down. We got to take this pit entrance road, which is really tough. We're going over 160 miles an hour down the back straightaway, and we can only go about 110 around here without sliding. Then you got to get all that you can and basically just slide your way down pit road. It's 50 at the cone, which it's not too bad. It seems a little quicker than the last previous weeks. I know Phoenix was like 35 or something like that, which felt really slow. But you got to make sure you can't speed all the way across. Green flag pit stops is going to be key, especially with having to take the access roads both times. You'll see a lot of time lost and or gained. Get down to the pit stop. Make sure not to slide the tires. I took it kind of easy just so that way I didn't slide through. I'm really looking forward to this race. I always look forward to the races, but especially this one because if you guys saw the DWC race from only a couple weeks ago, you saw that bottom lane actually kind of fade out near the halfway mark of the race, and everybody was running the top, and then by the end of the race, you had guys running the top, and then guys going back down to the bottom because it had cooled off. So if we get a long run, I'll be really excited to see how the track does rubber up. Phoenix rubbered up really nicely. We couldn't run the bottom in 3 and 4 really after about 20 or 30 laps because it just rubbered up so much with all the cars on the track. But anyway, thanks guys. I hope you guys enjoy the race, and we'll see you next week.
We bring you topside, and we also get you ready for the start of tonight's iRacing.com Pro Series South Florida 250. And to do that, we're going to step away for just a moment. When we come back, the starting lineup and the green flag for tonight's event from the Homestead Miami Speedway. So stay tuned. Right now, you're watching iRacing Live and LSRTV, the voice of sim racing.
But here comes Gregor Hutu into Canada corner for the final time. Just 2 corners left to go before he finally makes himself a triumphant return back to victory lane. He has led 38 laps of this event here today, and Gregor Hutu once again is a winner. Gregor Hutu will work himself through the Cobra Parabolica. He will claim his 46th victory in iRacing.com World Championship competition. Gregor Hutu, for the 2nd race in a row, reigns supreme.
The one thing that I think is the most important is we've been racing this Ground Championship Series for quite some time now, a very long time even at that, and he is the only driver to have ever won a professional road race at Watkins Glen.
But there is nothing that could crack that finish #1 Team Redline driver. Gregor Hutu works himself out the final corner, and just as he did in 2010, 2011, 2012, 2013, 2014, in 2015, Hutu once again wins at Watkins Glen.
Hutu will come across the line and takes the win for round 7 here at Virginia International Raceway.
Here he comes now, just 3 corners left to go, into Brooklands for the final time, into Luffield for the final time. Never ever say that Gregor Hutu is beaten, because he just comes back bigger, he comes back stronger. He wins round number 9 of the World Championship Series, 49th win of his career. If you're the world's greatest sim racing driver, you can do it with your statements on the road courses. Do it when it matters. Out of the final corner for the final time, number 50 for Gregor Hutu, out of the final corner. At the top of the broadcast, we said if Hutu could win here today, he could well cement himself as the championship favourite. Gregor Hutu, the #1 machine, back to victory lane, win number 51. Hutu is inching closer rapidly to his 5th, and yes, I say that correctly, his 5th World Championship. Out of the bus stop chicane comes the #1 Team Redline driver. Gregor Hutu will win here at Circuit Spa Francorchamps. Yes, you may be behind a computer with a steering wheel and a set of pedals, but for these drivers, this is as close as they may ever get to racing in real life. It will be Gregor Hutu coming past the line. He is a 5-time world champion. Gregor Hutu wins the championship one more time. He is the greatest driver in the history of open wheel racing here at iRacing.com, and dare I say it, he is the greatest open wheel champion in the history of sim racing.
Truex in the outside, contact made. 56 slides it at a 4. Who's going to be at the stripe? Dead even, give it to Ryan Truex. Truex is your winner over Tandy.
Championship leader has taken over. Vincent holds a 22.5 second. Welcome back to LSRTV and iRacing Live as we get set to grid up and kick off tonight's South Florida 250 from the Homestead Miami Speedway. Once again, Jacob Seelman, Evan Pisoko, Justin Rosenau, Brian Macklin in the booth, Andy Kessler, Cisco Scaramouza down on pit road tonight, and Evan getting ready to kick off tonight's action at Homestead. Let's take a look at the LSRTV starting lineup.
Well, the pole time for this one with a 30.013. The number 27, Cody Bias, and for the record, I had a bad fantasy week at Phoenix. My pick for tonight gets pole position. Bias will lead us off. It's going to be the 51 of Tyler Laughlin, and rolling off in second. Josh Berry, the number 88 Speedco Chevrolet in third. P4 outside row 2 to the 82 of Alex Warren, and Mitchell Hunt rounding out your top 5 qualifiers.
David Rattler's 6 Timu Vonen in the 99 rolls from 7th. Brandon Schmidt's 3 Machine starts 8th. Dylan Duvall, my pick to go to victory lane tonight. The 42 rolls away from 9th. And how about the best qualifying result of the Pro Series season so far for Andrew Fayash III? He kicks off P10 this evening.
11th, you'll find the 31 of Sasha Wessler. The 40 of Joshua Lawton will start 12th. 13th to the 18 of Damon Burnett. Trey Edson in the 6th. He'll roll off 14th, and 15th goes to the 98 of Ryan Borges.
16th, the number 83 of Thomas Davis, the fastest driver in the warm-up session, starts in 16th spot. Adam Gilliland will roll from 17th. It's at 18th for the 54 of Jacob Harberts. Alan Bowes rolls the number 21 Toyota off at 19th at outside row 10, and 20th, the 20 of Greg McKinney.
How about Nick Furler in the 55, 21st? Dylan Jones is 22nd tonight. 23rd, the 25 of Joey Israelson. 24th, the 39 Michael Johnson. Then it's Nicholas Johnson in 25th. Billy Price, Brandon Hoff, Rob Ackley, Stephen Gilbert, Logan Clampett, the top 30.
31st going to be Justin Trombley, Ryan Lowe 32nd, 33rd Blake Bryan, Brad Davies, and Dylan Rafferty through 35th. Carl Kashiba, Byron Daly, Jason Jacoby, Shane Dougherty, and Jeff Ramsdale through 40th. And then Kyle Putz, Robin Williams, and Timmy Hill round out the 43 cars.
And as always, we want to thank you for tuning in tonight here on LSR TV and iRacing Live as we roll into turns 3 and 4. Here at the Homestead Miami Speedway, the pace car makes the turn to pit road, field in the hands of Cody Bias and Tyler Laughlin, and green flag flies here at Homestead. We are underway for round 3 of the NASCAR iRacing.com Pro Series. Down to turn number 1, Bias the early lead, Laughlin slides in second, and Josh Berry quickly up to the 3rd position as they work off turn 2. Down the back straightaway, 3 bow ties leading the field.
Inside of the top 5 for the most part, everybody single filed out. Top side in 3 and 4, the 09 of David Rattler slides back 1 spot just in front of the 3 of Brandon Schmidt. That's the 99 of Timu Vonen putting the move on in for that number 6 position at this time. The top 1, 2, 3, though, exactly as they were on the drop of the green flag. And Laughlin tried to challenge Bias into 3 and 4. It didn't work, and now it looks like Josh Berry, the one trying to move forward. Close fight for second as they head back to 3.
I was just going to reference that. Barry and the Speedco Chevrolet SS closing. It's down to a car length and less for as Tyler Laughlin leads him off turn number 4. Laughlin trying to hang on. He's having a good early performance. Bias extends the gap just a little bit. It's about 4 car lengths now. A little bit further back through the field. You know, look from 4th on back. It's starting to get a little racy, and even further back, Evan, first battle for position around the 8th spot.
And that's a side-by-side battle inside David Burnett. He's trying to get something going here just outside of the top 10. The number 18 Toyota picks up the spot. That now makes him positive at least 3 from the beginning of this one. A 42 of Dylan Duvall, another name that was able to pass the 09 of David Rattler. So Rattler going backwards now to P9. He's back 3 spots. Burnett up 3, trying to go up 4 as he ducks to the inside of the 09. So not a good start for David Rattler. Started top side on row number 3, only continues to sink. Now outside of the top 10 as they go down the back straightaway. His next challenger going to be the 31 of Sasha Wessler.
And it's not such a great start for the 77 of Andrew Fayash. Started 10th all the way back to the 14th spot. It's going to look like he's going to lose another. The 40 of Josh Lawton. It's almost 3 wide. It's a hornet's nest back here. The 83 of Thomas Davis looked to the inside, thought about making it 3 wide, not going to make it happen. The 54 of Jacob Harberts kind of rides that middle line, thinking about splitting the 40 of Lawton, the 77 of Fayash, and he's going to have to sit back. It's 2 by 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rows deep back here for about P14.
And right in the middle of that battle is a driver that I was keeping my eye on here early, Evan, a guy who's on the move. This 8 of Adam Gilliland in the Gary Mercer Trucking, gmercer.com, number 8 machine. He's rolling forward. He's picked up 4 spots, started 17th, rides 13th, but he's just ahead of that Hornet's Nest that goes from 14th on back. Faye Ash is there, Josh Lawton is there, Alan Bowe's right in the middle of it as well.
Yeah, he's lucky he got out in front of that to ride 13th now, because this fight is everybody running from 14th on back, and it's topside for the 40 of Joshua Lawton. Not a typical passing lane, but it's enough to get the job done on Andrew Fayash III, who's not doing that well so far from the start of this race, as just mentioned. He continues to go backwards, and 3 wide actually, 54, and Jacob Harbert forces it to the inside. That 3 wide will work, and Ryan Borges, the number 98, way topside in turn number 1 to make sure they have plenty of room. And how about the 54? An aggressive move, slides up and shuts the door. Harbert's not playing around.
Battle for the lead starting to heat up front. You got 4 cars nose to tail under a blanket right now. Cody Bias leads the train. Tyler Laughlin now taking a peek for the lead. He goes to the bottom side in turn number 1. Not close enough to make the move. Now looks up to the middle of the racetrack as Bias sinks right down towards that white line. He'll end up settling into the middle group of the racetrack, and it's Josh Berry trying to put a move on Laughlin for second. Taking a peek to the inside. That's the battle headed to turn 3.
As the battle starts to heat up for the top 4, Mitchell Hunt trying to get to the back bumper, the 88, the Speedco Chevrolet of Josh Berry. Mitchell was about 4 or 5 car lengths back last time by through turns 3 and 4, ran the high side quite effectively and got it down to about 2.5 car lengths or so, as Berry now looks to the outside of the 51 of Tyler Laughlin for second, and Josh Berry with a power move around the outside, high, wide, and handsome. He's got himself second place and got his sights set on Cody Bias for the lead.
Cody Bias now has his closest pursuer as the 88 of Josh Berry, the points leader. And now Tyler Laughlin way up the racetrack exit in turn 4. Got the fence just a little bit. That allows Mitchell Hunt right there to challenge. Bias to the bottom. Berry all the way up, rim riding just like his boss Dale Earnhardt Jr. does at this racetrack. He wants the lead. He's trying to use the high, wide, and handsome line to try and get it. Berry, though, loses a little bit of ground that time, falls about 5 car lengths back, and back into the clutches of Tyler Laughlin, 2 through 4 right there together. But I'm noticing, Brian, that right now, the 88 of Berry, where he's not so good in turns 1 and 2, he's fantastic in 3 and 4, makes up all that ground that he loses off the exit of 2 in 3 and 4.
Yeah, the way they're racing this track right now, you have to run both sets of corners a little different from one another. You're going to see a lot of guys move up and run up by the wall in turns 1 and 2. They're going to be able to get up there in that third groove. I don't know that they're going to be able to run right up against the wall like we saw Josh Berry try, but they're going to be able to get pretty close to it. Down in 3 and 4, however, they're still running that middle groove. Some of them can kind of venture up to the outside, but you're not seeing them go up there quite yet. I think you're going to have to wait for the track to rubber up before you're going to see them jump up there. It's interesting to see, though, these front 4 drivers, they're all running different lanes right now. The leader's running the bottom. Josh Berry's been running the middle groove and the high groove in 1 and 2, and everybody else around them is doing something different as well.
On board right now with the number 18, Damon Burnett, who rides 9th. He started 13th and has clawed his way forward right now, about 2 seconds back of the race lead. And just ahead of him has been a great battle for the 7th position the last couple of laps. 82, Alex Warren. 42, Dylan Duval. Duval takes that spot. Burnett came along with him, and all of a sudden Warren drops from 7th to 9th. And that battle going on about 2 seconds behind what's been a great 4-car freight train for the lead. Cody Bias, Josh Berry, Tyler Laughlin, Mitchell Hunt continue to run in that order for the moment. Everybody in lockstep formation. Berry taking a peek, though, gets a good run through the center of 3 and 4. He wants the lead as they come down to complete lap 13.
And he's on the back bumper this time. The last time around it was the 51 on him. So top side goes Cody Bias. Down to the bottom of the racetrack goes Josh Berry. Will be side by side at a turn 2. Lap number 14, the battle for the race lead. But banking on the top side of the racetrack to be enough to give Josh Berry the run back down to turn 3. And he'll come down, make the defensive line into 3 and 4. Shuts the door. Bias hangs on for one more.
Yeah, he does, and now that really moves Laughlin in to be able to challenge for the second spot. He goes to the bottom of the racetrack. As we watch these 4, we also want to welcome in our pit crew for the evening, our iRacing.com pit reporters, and to do so, we go trackside. Andy Kessler, Cisco Scaramuza there waiting. Andy, we'll start with you with an update on tonight's race leader. Cody Bias really happy on the top side right now.
Yeah, he has been happy. The crew's been talking to him. Obviously wants a little bit more. He wants to be able to pull away from these guys. The draft will play a little bit of an effect here through the straightaways for these guys, but right now Cody Bias very happy with it. They're going to make the small changes, try to keep up with the track all night long, especially as it starts to rubber up. But right now, Cody Bias and Josh Berry very happy with the cars here in the early going. Cisco?
Yeah, definitely. Barry's kind of chasing him right now. He's letting it off a little easy right now. Wants to make sure he saves the car as the run goes on. But right now he's starting to fall into the clutches of third place right there. So he's got to be careful not to maybe give Tyler Laughlin a chance there to maybe jump to the inside and get a spot on him. But those guys right now, they're taking it easy right now as they head down into turn 1.
And we'll hear more from both Andy and Cisco here as the race progresses on. Right now, 16 laps complete, working 17. Battle for third is starting to heat up as the 81 of Mitchell Hunt took a peek on the 51 Tyler Laughlin. He falls back into line in fourth right now. But what I'm really impressed with, Justin, is the fact that these four have been able to drive to almost a full second over the rest of this field. They've got about 0.8 of a second right now over the 99 of Team UE Bonin in fifth. And they continue to build that gap here as the run goes on.
Yeah, and that's really something to look out for. Although the 99 at Team UE Bonin trying to claw his way back up into this battle, you got to mention, though, these four drivers up front, they've been kind of scratching and clawing at each other on the racetrack, mixing it up and dicing it up a little bit, and that's really allowed Team UE Bonin, along with the three of Brandon Schmidt, to join the battle. And they're within about 10 car lengths or so of climbing themselves back inside the battle. Their gap now 0.6 of a second. And these guys really have to be careful because Cody Bias is already pulling out about a half second.
3 wide back in the pack, right around 21. Alan Bowes, 83. Thomas Davis. Some of these guys going at it. And actually ahead of Bowes, you got David Rattler, Josh Lawton, Alex Warren. That's 10th through about 13th right now. They've been scrambling it up. They come down the straightaway and head back into the bank. And once again, Adam Gilliland sideways back in 17th and saves it.
39 going to get a little bit squirrely. Also hanging on to it is Michael J. Johnson. That opens up the door for a couple of crossovers. Brandon Hoff as well as Ryan Borges making some moves. What you saw there, though, around that battle for P11, Jacob, was two drivers that are going forward against two drivers that were going backwards. The outside, it's not been the number one place to pass as we take a look at the sideways action a little bit there on the LSRTV replay, but it's not been a preferred lane to pass, but you are able to. So we saw Alex Warren in the middle of that. The 82 has lost 8 spots from the start of the race, and the 09 of David Rattler, who has lost 7 spots from the start of the race, up against Joshua Lawton and Alan Bowes, two drivers that have gone forward, and actually that 21 of Alan Bowes, one of the biggest movers so far. So that's why those guys got log jammed, and Bowes and Lawton, they know that if this goes green, they can't sit around and wait and lose precious tenths of a second, because that's amplified without the caution flags, and you continue to go green, because that battle was already 4 seconds off of the leaders. You're seeing it again right now. Now with the 83, though, with Thomas Davis, he's not waiting around on these guys, and he goes 3 wide topside to pass those same two drivers.
Yeah, he does. Right now, we are 21 laps into 134. In fact, 200 miles going to be the distance tonight at Homestead Miami. Usually 250 the distance, but tonight 200 miles going to make up the full race distance here, the South Florida 1.5 mile oval. Right now, though, want to go trackside. One of the guys who started in the top 10 tonight, Andrew Fayash, has fallen all the way to the tail of the grid. 1 lap down. Cisco, he had to make an unscheduled pit stop here.
Yeah, I talked to his crew chief, Matt Batempi, right there, and he said it looks like they had the car set up a little bit with a little bit too much tape on the grill. So they pulled some tape off the grill. His car was overheating, put 4 fresh tires on there. So he's about... They checked the interval here. He's now currently scored a lap down, so right now just trying to stay out of trouble is that 77 car.
He'd like a caution. He could get the lucky dog free pass, get back on the lead lap, and continue to charge back forward. I think he had a great car. Up front, though, really getting a mad scramble on for the 3rd position. How about the 3 of Brandon Schmidt coming to life? Gets through and past the 51 of Tyler Laughlin. He moves to P3. Mitchell Hunt now trying to challenge for 4th, and we're 3 wide, even further back behind them.
The 55 and Nick Furler and a bunch of other cars all scrambling. The 11 of Brad Davies, last week's winner, the 90, the 44, all 3 wide, all trying to get themselves sorted out. Almost 4 wide out of turn 4. Oh, we are 4 wide. In trouble! 22 of Rob Ackley around.
Rob Ackley, no caution yet. And now the caution flag flies with 25 laps complete. a disaster, Justin Rosenau, and I've said it before, but I didn't think I would see it in practice. 4 wide at Homestead Miami does not work.
No, it does not. The replay going to be up on your screen. You're going to see the 11 of Brad Davies, the 72 of Paul Kashiba. Just kind of get some net code there. Davies, last week's winner, finds himself down on the inside fence along with the 72 of Paul Kashiba. 22 of Rob Ackley, as I just called out. He got the worst of that head on hard in the inside fence there right along pit road. Puts us underneath the first caution flag as he will indeed take the tow back to pit road.
So the field will form up behind the American Childhood Cancer Foundation pace car. Cody Bias, again, the leader. Josh Berry, second. They've run like that basically since the drop of the green flag. But how about the black number 3 machine of Brandon Schmidt? Started 8th and has quietly and methodically moved his way forward up to 3rd ahead of Tyler Laughlin and Dylan Duvall. Mitchell Hunt has fallen from the top 4 battle back to 6th now, and the leaders down on the apron. They're headed for pit road. Let's set it down first to the head of pit road and Andy Kessler.
That's right, talking about the top 3 guys running right now. Brandon Schmidt says the car's real good, looking for a little bit more speed. He's a little loose off the corners. They're going to tighten him up just a little bit. 4 tires of fuel. Cody Bias, Josh Berry, both happy. Small air pressure adjustments for those 2 cars. They're going to get 4 tires of fuel. Tyler Laughlin slides through his box just a little bit right there. Has to back up just a smidge. That's going to cost him some time. But a lot of things happening down this end. Cisco, what about your end?
Yeah, Dylan Duvall's also going to take 4 tires here, as well as Timo Yvonne. And right now, the race off pit road, though, Bias barely going to beat out. I believe that's Timmy Hill. I think he took 2 tires there. So a interesting call by the 1 car. Oh, he missed his pit box, actually. We're hearing he missed his pit box, so he drove right through pit road, so he's going to have to come back down. But in the meantime, Cody Bias is going to win the race off pit road with Josh Berry coming out second.
He's going to continue to lead as he has every one of the 26 laps that we have completed so far. Bias over Berry, Schmidt, Laughlin, and Duvall will reset the race off and continue on when they cross the start-finish line. But Brian, boy, have we seen some great racing here in the early going. We said it was going to get chaotic, and we're really seeing how wide this racetrack is. I mean, you talk about they're able to run 3 wide pretty easily, and we saw 4 wide as we take a look at Timmy Hill and his issues on pit road. But I never imagined that we would see the track quite this racy here in the early going.
Yeah, I was really surprised to see them running 3 and 4 wide like that. I expected a little bit of 3 wide, but 4 wide kind of blew my mind. That was crazy. I think what was really exciting, though, was watching the lead cars all run a different line down in turns 1 and 2. We saw Cody Bias start off running that bottom groove, and he was committed to that. He didn't move off that line at all. But then we saw Josh Berry and Tyler Laughlin and the rest of these guys. They were hunting around and searching for a groove up top. They were running up by the wall or in that 3rd groove, and it was just really cool to see that. We haven't seen that on iRacing at all. So it's a new world for us, and it's awesome to see these guys doing, and it's got to be a lot of fun for those guys. I wish I was down there with them.
We continue on, and we will reset that the top 5 unchanged leaving pit road. So Bias, Berry, Schmidt, Laughlin, Duvall, the front 5. Mitchell Hunt is 6th. Teamy Wivonen 7th. Damon Burnett 8th. Thomas Davis 9th. And Sasha Wessler breaks into the top 10 for the first time tonight. And one of our early drivers that we thought was going to be a contender, Evan Alex Warren, started 4th, has dropped all the way outside the top 10 to 15th here in the early goings.
And I don't think he made many passes, if at all. He was only going backwards. It didn't happen all at once. Just the car did not have the speed that he was looking for. And again, talking about how he was getting past topside because guys weren't going to wait for him to get out of the way, get that preferred lane. So it's tough, but it's early. Again, we talk about this race. The driver said that if it was cloudy conditions into this race, the tire wear would not be as drastic and they wouldn't fall off as quickly, but that loose condition might be a little bit more exaggerated. That's exactly what we saw that caused that caution. Was guys into the corner. Brad Davies getting a little bit loose off when you're tight in the middle, push it up the hill. So something to keep an eye on, and there's still a long way to go. Over 100 laps to improve that race car, but you know, to start top 5, that's a big help. To fall to P15, that's not helping you at all. He's going to be right in the middle of the fray for the restart.
And as the field slowly works down the back straightaway, lights off on the pace car, getting ready to go back green. It's really going to be interesting to see. Brandon Schmidt moved up from the A spot and slid out of the top 10 in the first couple of laps, clawed his way all the way up to 3rd. he looks like he's got a lot of speed. Jacob, I think he really has something for the leader in Bias.
Oh, I think he does too. I think you talk about Josh Berry. He's fast everywhere he goes, so there's no question that he's going to be a threat as we continue on through this race. It's just a matter of if he can get the right brakes. This restart may be a break for him. In fact, our first restart of the night, but Cody Bias gets right on the button as we work off turn 4. The green flag flies once again, and Bias, in Infinite Creative Solutions, number 27 Chevrolet, slots in. Top 4 quickly goes single file as Laughlin uses the outside lane to get ahead of Brandon Schmidt. First battle on the racetrack for 6th off turn 2.
Somebody gets sideways back in turn number 2. It looks like they're able to gather everything up. Hearing problems for the driver, the number 8, Adam Gilliland. He gets sideways, gets checked up, guys. Not the first time tonight. Gilliland's had handling problems on that Gary Mercer Trucking Toyota. This drops him back to P28 at the start-finish line. Now back to 33rd as he gets a couple of guys around him, and he's in a big pack. 2 and 3 wanted, 1 and 2, trying to get out of it.
He's trying to get out of it. Meanwhile, we got some great racing going on right now. How about Damon Burnett in the 18, trying to work the top side. Dylan Duvall, the 42. That's a battle back around the 6th and 7th position. And Team Evonen getting into this battle in the 99. Evonen to the bottom of the racetrack now, going for 7th on Burnett across the line. They'll go side by side down to turn 1.
And not for long, Evonen moves around the 18 of Burnett. The 21 of Alan Bowes next in line. He pulls up to the back bumper to the 18 of Burnett. Burnett going to dive down to the bottom, try to protect the line from Alan Bowes. He's all the way pulling up about a car length away from Bowes. And Burnett got his sights set on the 99 of Evonen, trying to get a little bit of revenge as they work out a 4. Gets a little bit closer, about half a car length, the gap right now across the stripe.
Yeah, he does. We're already closing in on 50 miles complete here at Homestead Miami Speedway. Cody Bias has led every one of the 32 laps that we have completed so far. Back in the pack, though, talk about some early race hard chargers. We've mentioned the 21 of Alan Bowes already. He's come from 19th to 9th. But, Brian, another driver that's made some great early passes, the 23, Brandon Hoff, on the move up 12. He rides 15th right now and climbing.
Yeah, he didn't have the qualifying effort he was looking for. I heard him talking to his teammates over the radio before the race started, and he was saying that he just didn't have the speed that he was looking for in qualifying trim, but he felt like he had a good long-run car, and he felt like if they got some long runs, he was going to move to the front, and that's exactly what he's done so far. Like you said, he's up 12 positions, and he fully expects to be inside the top 10 very soon. He's got a fast race car, and he's looking to take advantage of it the best way he can.
Right now, as they cross the stripe, 50 miles, quarter distance here tonight at Homestead Miami is complete, and that affords us the opportunity to go LSRTV side by side, because Cody Bias leads Josh Berry, Tyler Laughlin, Brandon Schmidt, and Mitchell Hunt in South Florida. From Homestead Miami Speedway, you're watching iRacing Live and LSRTV, the voice of sim racing.
Ryan Truex. Truex is your winner over Tandy.
And we welcome you back to South Florida, Homestead Miami Speedway, the site of Round 3 of the NASCAR iRacing.com Pro Series tonight on iRacing Live and LSRTV. We welcome you into the LSRTV broadcast tower. Jacob Seelman, Evan Pasoko, Justin Rosenau, and Brian Macklin in tonight's broadcast booth with Andy Kessler and Cisco Scaramuza down on the pit lane. We are closing in on 50 laps complete in tonight's event right now, working 43 of 134 in this 200-mile affair. Cody Bias, well, he's been out front for every single one of them. He leads over a great pass for second that you'll get ready to see. We'll pull up the LSRTV replay box and show you Tyler Laughlin in the Monster Energy Chevrolet moving around the 88 of Josh Berry in a power move in 3 and 4, Evan, where Berry's been so good tonight, but Laughlin uses momentum to his advantage, takes over the second spot, and is now setting his sights on the leader, Cody Bias, who's getting into some lap traffic here.
Is going to go to the inside. That 72 machine really torn up Paul Kashiva in that earlier accident. 2 laps down, now falls to 3 laps down. So Laughlin trying to chase down the 27. It's not clear sailing behind him, though. That 88 of Josh Berry put the challenge on him a couple of times. And the 51 and the 88, they started 2-3. They run 2-3 right now, Jacob. They have been almost identical with each other on speed. That save move that Tyler Laughlin just made on Josh Berry, Berry could make it back on him in a minute. The car that I'm impressed with, that number 3 of Brandon Schmidt at the moment, he's picking up spots, and he actually drops Josh Berry down to 4th, so the 3 car from P8 on the grid, he takes over the bottom step on the podium. That's the driver in all of this that I'm keeping an eye on.
Yeah, and they almost made contact last time by the back straightaway. Schmidt barely got through to take over 3rd, and he quickly closes on the back deck lid of the 51. Laughlin moves right to the inside of the racetrack, all over the white line. Schmidt wants the runner-up spot. We go down the back straightaway. He moves up to almost side draft the 51 of Laughlin. I'm telling you what, Brandon Schmidt has got a rocket ship right now. He powers to the inside of the racetrack, takes over P2 from Tyler Laughlin, slides up across the nose, and now he moves and sets his sights on race leader Cody Bias. The problem for Schmidt is he's almost 10 car lengths and 2/3 of a second, Brian, back of the race leader. Is he burning his stuff up too soon, trying to get to the front here?
I mean, it's very possible. He was driving really hard to try to get past Tyler Laughlin and Josh Berry, but I don't want to say that he's burned him up yet because he's still moving. He's still going forward. I don't know that anybody can touch Cody Bias, though. We were talking about it during that commercial break, and Cody Bias just has a rocket ship, and I don't know that anybody's got a car that can catch him. I almost think you have to go on offense and try to run as hard as you can to try to catch him. And actually, we are hearing that the first and second place cars, Cody Bias and Brandon Schmidt, ran identical lap times that last time by. So Brandon Schmidt's got a fast car. He's giving it everything he's got. It's going to be really interesting to see what he can do here.
Yeah, 30.763, 30.763 for Bias and for Schmidt. He's trying to close in. We'll see what he can do this time around. He's definitely faster than both Laughlin and Berry, but it actually outruns Bias by 5 1/1000ths last time by. Again, they run almost identical laps, an 8:47 for Schmidt to an 8:52 for Cody Bias. I'm telling you, sooner or later, one of these two is going to make the other one use up their stuff. Right now, though, behind them, battle for 5th. Dylan Duvall has made the move. He's attacking on Mitchell Hunt, and he's trying to bring Team Uwe Bonin and Damon Burnett into the mix as well. But Duvall couldn't complete the pass on the bottom, and now it's going to cost him.
Duvall works to the inside of Mitchell Hunt, really running a quiet race so far all night long thus far. He's got his sights now set on the 51, the Monster Energy Chevrolet of Tyler Laughlin. He looks to the inside out of turn 2. It's a drag race down the back straightaway. Mitchell Hunt going to fight back for that spot around the outside with that momentum on the high side. He's going to force Duvall to back off on his battle with Laughlin there for the 4 spot, and Duvall drives hard out of 4. Gets door-to-door with Laughlin on the front straightaway. It's really going to be interesting to see if this battle can hold through turns 1 and 2 onto the back straightaway, where the high side looks like it has the advantage.
And how about the change going on up front? We were talking about somebody pushing their tires too far. Cody Bias may be using it up, trying to keep Brandon Schmidt behind him. Schmidt has closed in a 10th of a second. The last 2 laps, I think he's going to chop another 10th off right here. He can almost glue it to the white line of the racetrack in both 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. He's a half 10th quicker that time by the stripe, working 52. You see him sink it to the white line. Bias can't get it glued down to the bottom like the 3 can. And Brandon Schmidt, that's really where he's making up all his time, Evan, as we go on board with the driver of that Chevrolet.
He sits right now with 1 top 10 on the season. We were just talking under that commercial break that Cody Bias class of the field, and we said that I don't think anybody's going to catch him unless he has some problems. Well, this 3 machine really picking it up out of nowhere. And again, we talk about the tire wear, but it is cool track conditions. There's not a lot of sun on the track, so the tires aren't going to be as drastic as a fall off in comparison to maybe what we saw in last year's Pro Series, which helps a guy like this that's charging. The good point that you made it, I like, Jace, that Cody Bias, if he sees that 3 coming, naturally he wants to give it a little bit more and get going. So as the 3 challenges, he can kind of force that 27 making the same mistake also.
And we continue on and watch this battle for the lead. All of a sudden, Brandon Schmidt losing a little bit of time. Bias extends the gap by 1/4 of a tenth that time by Schmidt. Brian is better in turns 1 and 2. I think Bias has him beat a little bit in the 3 and 4 end of the racetrack. And you watch these 2, the problem right now is if they start really getting it on hot and heavy for the race lead, you've got the 88 of Josh Berry back there in 3rd, who'd like to make it a 3-car bow tie brigade battle for the top spot.
Yeah, and that's exactly what Josh Berry wants. He wants those guys to start racing in front of him so that it makes it easier for him to catch them. And right now, Brandon Schmidt is starting to run him down. He's down to just over 0.3 of a second of a gap between himself and Cody Bias, so he's getting there. It's just a matter of how long it takes him to get there. I'm really impressed to see how strong he's running and how low he's running down in turns 1 and 2. You talk about it, he is a lot faster, not just over Cody Bias, but over pretty much everybody in this field down in 1 and 2. I've not seen anybody that's been able to hook it around that white line the way he's doing that, and it's producing a ton of speed for him, so that's really impressive to me.
Continuing on, the battle's still hovering right now at about 0.3 of a second, and the big thing for me is that these top 3, Bias, Schmidt, Berry, have opened up about an 0.8 of a second gap over the 42 of Dylan Duvall, who has moved his way into the 4th spot. I want to go back to pit road. Cisco Scaramuza, you've got an update on the 42 of Duvall, who really is kind of sitting by himself right now. He's not up front with these other 3 leaders, but he's not in the hornet's nest behind him for 5th either.
Yeah, he's just kind of sitting here riding along right now, biding his time. I think he's letting the leaders kind of burn their stuff up, but also it'll give him a chance to kind of read what they got kind of in cars and maybe see once the track starts to get rubbered in where he can go to maybe make up time.
We continue it on, and I'm watching another face that's really done a nice job charging his way past cars and through the field, Justin. How about the 21 of Alan Bowes up into the top 10 and solidly looking for a spot in the top 5. He wants to close in and take the fight to Mitchell Hunt for the 6th spot. He's moved 19th to 7th right now. And another guy even behind him that's making some moves, Dylan Rafferty in the 46th, 35th, up 21 spots to 14th.
Yeah, a little bit further afield from them, the guy that was fastest in warm-up before the race, the 83 of Thomas Davis, just got around the 31 of Sasha Wessler, to put himself back up into the top 10, and Wessler trying to fight back on the bottom side as they go down the front straightaway. Door-to-door, the 31 and the 83 are, along right behind them, the 54, Jacob Harpers, the 18 of Damon Burnett. Those guys as well, side-by-side, door-to-door, as they file out of turn 2, now down the back straightaway. Wessler going to fight back. He's going to take the spot away from Thomas Davis for the moment, and Davis is going to have to settle for 11th, but really a lot of speed being shown for Davis as he's clawing his way up from the Hornet's Nest back, puts himself just outside the top 10 in a crucial stage of the race, setting himself up for a strong stretch run.
Another driver on the move. We can talk about some of these guys back in the pack because there's no change up front for the lead. Started shotgun on the field, but Timmy Hill has nicely moved his way forward, almost halfway through the field, Brian. He's moved his way up to the top 25 now, and really, along with him, Jason Jacoby, both of them started outside of 35th position, and they ride the 19 and the 1, 24th and 25th respectively.
Yeah, I've been friends with Timmy Hill for a very long time, and this is the kind of strategy that he likes to play. He doesn't get up there and race for the lead at the beginning of the race. He typically just likes to hang back and see what the guys in front of him are going to do. He doesn't like to get involved in it until after halfway. Once they get past halfway, he starts trying to work his way up through the field. No, it's probably not going to win him the race because it's going to be very hard to pass that many cars, but it's going to give him a good finish. He knows all he needs to do is points race his way into the DWC Series, so that's exactly what he's trying to do, and we see him do it week in and week out. He starts towards the back and then he moves up. Same thing with Jason Jacoby. He's one of those guys, he's got a lot of speed, but he doesn't typically show it until the later stages of the race.
One car to pit road. Let's throw it trackside. Andy Kessler, Ryan Lowe's headed towards you.
That's right, Ryan Lowe's on his way down to pit road right here. They last pitted on lap number 30. It's a little bit early of a stop for them. They're going to try a little track position game here with some tire strategy. Get a little fresher tires than everybody else on the field, be a little bit faster, and see if that can play out for them. They're counting the laps backwards from the end here of when they can make it. So the 38, first one to come on pit road. This might open it up for some of these other guys to maybe give it a shot once they see somebody come down. But 38, Ryan Lowe, 4 tires, fuel, small adjustment to the track bar. He's off and away.
And up front, Cody Bias has extended the lead over Brandon Schmidt now to a full half a second, and Josh Berry has really fallen off this 2-car freight train up front. It's now 1.7 seconds from Bias back to Berry, make it 1.9 this time by, and I'm really surprised at this. Cisco, has the 88 said anything on the radio?
Not a word.
I'm puzzled, Brian. I really am, because you expect Josh Berry to be one of those guys that gets really up on the wheel, but I have to think he's either not got it going on right now or he's really saving his stuff here.
Well, I think at this point it's too late for him to be saving his stuff. The run has gotten too deep into it. They're almost 45 laps into this run, so if he was going to be saving tires, we would have already seen the effects of that, and he would have been faster than these guys in front of him. I just believe that he's driven the car too hard and he's burnt the tires off, and so now he's going to have to just wait for pit stops and get back out there and try again.
Trouble for Tyler Laughlin. He was running inside the top 10 and inside the top 5 a lot of this race. Laughlin has just lost connection with the sim. That'll put him way behind. Meanwhile, Josh Berry to pit road. Cisco.
Yeah, right now here comes Berry down to pit road. He's up towards the front of the stalls here, so he'll be able to maybe get a good exit right now. But Jason Jacoby is coming off pit road right now. Got his service done on his 19 Toyota. Behind him, we have also the Fayash, who came in earlier. He's coming down pit road, or he's leaving pit road right now. But 4 tires right now are going to be the call for basically everyone on pit road right now.
Brandon Schmidt down to pit road in the 3. Andy.
Yeah, I think they opened up the doors. Now everyone's seeing these guys come down pit road. So now the gate has opened now for all the leaders now to start coming down. Cody Bias will be in next time by, but the 3 right now, Brandon Schmidt, he's coming to service of his crew right now. Very happy with the car here so far tonight. They've been very fast after those first adjustments. Now it's just a tire pressure adjustment to adjust for the track changing with the tires, with the rubber coming into the track now. So Brandon Schmidt, he's off and down and away.
Yeah, and Cody Bias makes his way down to pit road right now, guys, and he is going to actually give up the lead for the first lap all night. He will not lead lap 67. Josh Lawton in the 40 goes to the top of the charts, and Cisco for the leader. I imagine all he wants is tires, some virtual Sunoco fuel, and to go away, because this car's been flawless so far.
Yeah, definitely. That's what he's looking for right now, as we have a couple more cars hit that access road heading towards pit road. I believe that's the 09 of David Rattler it is, and behind him, Michael J. Johnson in the 39. They're coming down pit road right now, and right behind them, Nick Fuller and the 55. But we have a pass, I believe, for who will be the leader.
It's going to end up being for the lead, and a slow pit stop for Cody Bias. He loses a ton of time right here. He's going to fall, I think, outside the top 10 as it comes out, and Brandon Schmidt, when it all cycles through, is going to be the leader of this race.
And at any other racetrack, we saw this in our lap guide earlier tonight, guys. You come down to the pit lane out of turn 4, you can get a lot of time out of it. But here again, you're using the access road. That is a lot of opportunity, and it's something that might get overlooked to lose and or gain time. So where the 27 finds himself is very conservative coming down onto the pit lane. Didn't have any major problems in the stall, but overall he loses time.
And Justin, I think we're all surprised at this, because pit road has been one place through the first 2 races where Bias and the team have been almost flawless, and this is really surprising from them to see a mistake like that, or at least a very slow pit stop.
And it is, and caution on the speedway, trouble. Going to find out who that is in just a moment, and that may trap a couple drivers on who were fighting up towards the front, 1 lap down on the racetrack.
It's the 09 of David Rattler, I believe, that's got trouble. This is not what you want to see right now, Evan. This is one of those cautions right in the middle of green flag pit stops that just really screws up the whole flow here. Let's take a look at the replay right now, because for the 09, he was just on pit road, and now he's the caution.
A lot of the time you might expect, if you're going to see a caution in this cycle of pit stops, it comes when you have guys really on the extreme end of their tire run. But he gets out of the pit lane, and problem for the 09 machine, so the caution is out. But you're exactly right. You now basically have half of the drivers on the lead lap. 14 drivers lead lap at the moment. Joshua Lawton leading the race all the way back to 14th with the 18 of David Burnett. Then you have Dylan Rafferty, 15th position, the first driver 1 lap down, all the way through 38th position of the drivers that went 1 lap to the negative game. We really didn't have much more than maybe 4 guys, Jacob, off of the lead lap before the cycle of pit stops. This is really throwing a monkey wrench into things here, and this is the possibility of getting a caution in the middle of pit stops, and that's the risk you take from coming down. You come down right away, you're on your strategy. Those guys that stay out, though, this is exactly what they were hoping for. So for 14 drivers, that's good, Brian. For everybody else, not that good of news.
Yeah, and something that I was looking at right before this caution came out, to go back to the Cody Bias and Brendan Schmidt thing, I looked at their in-lap and out-lap times for when they came to pit road and when they exited pit road, and for Brandon Schmidt, he hit pit road on lap 66, and that lap was a 43.13, and then on his out-lap coming back onto the racetrack and getting back up to speed, he ran a 58.79. Cody Bias, when he came to pit road, he ran a 43.9 coming into pit road and ran over a minute 0.2 seconds on his out-lap. So there was about a 4-second difference between those 2 drivers coming on pit road and getting off pit road. That's the big difference we saw there between Cody Bias losing the lead and falling so far behind from Brandon Schmidt and the rest of those guys that had already been on pit road.
And I think the way this is all going to cycle out, you're going to see Bias end up about 5th or 6th here, and right now Brandon Schmidt's actually holding pace speed ahead of the 42 of Dylan Duval. Duval was scored ahead of him last time across the stripe, so I guess we're arguing about space just a little bit, but I think the 42 of Duval is going to end up being the leader right here, guys.
That very may well be the case, as a couple more cars come down on the access road trying to get to the attention of their pit crews to either fix some damage, put some fresh tires on it. I want to highlight something here. The 88 of Josh Berry, who was scored 9th, actually came down to pit road and put fresh tires on that machine. And as we've seen throughout the night, a couple laps different on tires may actually be huge. So if you're Josh Berry, you're going to restart inside the top 10, roughly somewhere around the 27 of Cody Bias within a few cars or so. So that's really something you want to pay attention to as the field cycles across the stripe right now. We'll see where Josh Berry ends up, and he will restart 10th. So Cody Bias will restart 14th. That's a gap of 6 cars. Well, that can be made up, especially if you're careful on your tires over the distance in the long run, because Josh Berry was close on speed for about 30 laps or so, but in that last 10 laps, Jacob and Evan, the 88 Speedco Chevrolet really started to fall off.
And this caution comes at an interesting time in this race. We've talked a little bit about the fuel strategy over the course of this race. These drivers can go anywhere from 50 to 55 laps. You probably don't want to go much further than that. If you top off before we go back green, Jacob, that puts you 10 to 5 laps short to the end. This race has been known to come down to some fuel strategy. The door is open for somebody to maybe try to get a couple of caution flags here late, save that amount of fuel, but I think based on what we've seen so far with the tire wear, although it's not as extreme as it could be based on the track conditions, I think everything in that regard, the idea would be for these guys, another caution if it comes maybe after 10 laps from this point on, they would come down to the pit lane, get service, and be good to the end. If not, there's a little bit of variance as far as if they make that final stop under green flag conditions, what that entails. Do want to encourage everybody to join the conversation. Use the hashtag LSRTV on Twitter. We do have quite the fan giveaway for tonight. If you're a new member to iRacing, we can give you a new iRacing account plus $250 of iRacing credits to one lucky tweeter tonight, so make sure to use the hashtag LSRTV. Probably one of the better prizes we're dishing out in this campaign, so make sure you get on that.
I would agree with that, and we will select a winner and notify them later tonight. Right now, though, gearing up for a restart, Justin Rosenau. How about this front row? Brandon Schmidt in the 3, Dylan Duvall in the 42. This is going to be a little bit of fun, and for the first time all night, it's not a trio of Chevrolets. In fact, the top 3 spots, we got a Chevy, a Ford, and a Toyota in Alan Bowes.
Yeah, and that's really going to shake a lot of things up. You had some guys that were comers and goers that are now up towards the front of the pack. Brandon Schmidt really has been the only car as the pace car dives to the safety of pit road. Field in the hands of the 3 of Brandon Schmidt, and he's on the loud pedal. Green flag back in
the pack. Caution flag is out, Justin, immediately as we take it, and it looked like connection issues. It started around the 81 of Mitchell Hunt, who I think blinked out of the sim for just a moment. Timu Evonen just got drilled. Everybody checked up, and it was Hunt and Evonen went around, and we'll take a look at the replay, Evan, and it was a giant accordion.
Yeah, we talk about the fact that the race leader, they can play a little bit as far as when they want to go, so that leaves a lot of these guys in an interesting spot. These guys were not all that far back either, but it's a checkup with the number 6 machine. It's Alex Moore, rather, in front of there, the number 6 machine of Trey Eidson. Small checkup for Edson there, slows down a little bit. The problem is, it's just like on the freeway. If one car has to get on the brake, the guy behind him gets on a little bit harder. Unfortunately, that's the 99 of Timu Evonen. He ducks out of line. Not enough time, though, for the 81 of Mitchell Hunt to get around him, so the 81 locks him up, gets into the right rear. That spins Timu around, and then those 2 drivers slowed on the bottom of the racetrack, and then a spin behind them as everybody did the exact same thing to try to avoid that contact. They checked up, made some contact, and Sasha Wessler, one of the drivers involved in this one, way back there in the pack, slows things down, and that's really the definition of a chaotic restart.
I'd say so, Evan, and since we are now under the 3rd caution of the night here with 76 laps complete, we'll take an opportunity to take a commercial break here on iRacing Live and LSRTV, but we'll be back with more action from the Homestead Miami Speedway in just a moment on iRacing Live and LSRTV. You're watching coverage of the NASCAR iRacing.com Pro Series. Brandon Schmidt, your race leader.
Championship leader has taken over.
Vincent holds a 22.5 second. Welcome back to LSRTV and iRacing Live under the third caution of the night here at Homestead Miami Speedway, and coverage of the NASCAR iRacing.com Pro Series from Homestead Miami Speedway is powered by iRacing.com, the world leader in motorsport simulation. Brandon Schmidt started 8th, has charged to the race lead, and we welcome you inside the LSRTV broadcast tower. Jacob Seelman, Evan Pasoko, Justin Rosenau, Brian Macklin upstairs with Andy Kessler and Cisco Scaramouza down trackside on the pit lane for us. And guys, Brandon Schmidt has impressed me coming from 8th to the lead, but I think more notable, two drivers that I've kept an eye on tonight that have been just brilliantly impressive. The 21 of Alan Bowes, Evan, 19th to 3rd, and Dylan Rafferty, 35th to 11th in that 46 machine. As it stands right now, he is the hard charger of the night in that machine, and he's knocking on the door of a top 10 running spot.
And Bose is doing good up in 3rd position, all things considered, because into this race, that team was not liking how tight that race car was. So, you know, you talk about the track conditions tonight, not helping a tight condition at all, being cooler temperatures. So he's done a good job, though, to work on that car to get to 3rd. Rafferty's, I'm extremely impressed with, because we talked about guys like Timmy Hill, even a Jason Jacoby back in the pack who's up to 18th position, Jacob. A lot of the time, we'll see somebody start outside the top 35, and they get 20 spots, but they can't get past P20, so they're able to pass X amount of cars and then they stall out. So far, not the case for the 46, just one spot away from cracking the top 10.
Under caution, let's send it down quickly to our iRacing.com pit reporters tonight. First, we'll go to Andy, who I'm sure has gotten a little bit of an earful under this caution, because I imagine Team Ivonen was not happy over the radio after getting turned around right there on that restart.
No, he wasn't very happy. Obviously, the start of the restart, I should say, the leader had every right, slowed the field down just like he did, the 3-car Brandon Schmidt, and what that did was just basically cause the accordion effect. It went right into him. You can't see much out of these cars, especially when you're tucked up underneath them, getting ready for a restart. He got turned around, not happy at all. Lots of damage to that car. They're going to get as much as they can repaired, but he's going to restart here 31st. So a lot of work left to do, try to salvage something out of tonight. Although he was running up front all night, for the most part, they were real happy with the way things were going. But now they're really going to have to fight for battles back here to get some points back.
And of course, Team U, one of the drivers that was in the bottom half of the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series field and is back in the Pro Series here this season. And like we said, it's going to be a points fight now as we get set for our 4th restart of the night. We're going to have just 54 laps to go, so we're closing in towards the final stint of this race. The American Childhood Cancer Foundation pace car heads to the safety of pit road. Brandon Schmidt leads the field back to the green flag. Underway once again, and a money restart for Alan Bowes. Drives right around the 42 of Dylan Duval. Bowes' Toyota moves into the 2nd position, side by side now for 4th. Josh Lawton on the attack. Cody Bias playing defense.
And at 27, topside, he'll get clear down to turn number 3, so Bias going to be able to maintain the 4th running spot. That leaves Lawton, though, to the Wolves. Topside goes the Clemson Toyota. How about the challenge by Trey Edson trying to get back going forward? Has quietly sat just around P10 so far in this race, trying to crack the top 5 with this battle. Had it barely at the start finish on. Outside lane seems to be pretty good against the 40 machine. He loses the 2nd spot, trouble behind.
Yeah, we have a big crash out of turn number 2. I'm trying to catch the number of the car right now that went around. The 83 machine, I'm hearing, of Thomas Davis got turned sideways in the exit of turn 2, and he lost control of that car. Actually, looks like we had a little bit of a netcode issue there. He didn't make contact with anybody, but the way his car kicked sideways, it was as if he got contact from the car to the inside line.
Yeah, we're taking a look at the replay right now, and I'd say this is this is pretty cut and dry, Evan. I mean, I'm watching it right now. You said little bit with air quotes, more like a lot of bit.
Yeah, and that's just a side-by-side case. Again, we talk about when you got these guys racing so close to each other, there's a possibility that these guys get together, but they don't actually. The sim registers it as contact. This is a case where it's really just a connection problem with Ryan Borges on the inside of the racetrack, and that car blinks out for a moment, comes back on track. When that car's gone, though, if you're anybody else, you might not see him, or his car might be doing something that it's not actually doing. It might have been option B there for Thomas Davis, because that car blinked out. The 83 had at least 7 feet, but that car went around like he got pounded in the left rear. If you're Thomas Davis, I know it's no consolation, but there's absolutely nothing you could have done there. Logan Clampett also picks up heavy damage.
Yeah, Clampett's got some serious problems with that machine, and they're going to have some work to do to get him back on the racetrack and even somewhat up to speed again. Big fake out for the top three. They looked like they were set to come to pit road, Justin, and all of a sudden at about the last possible second, Schmidt, Bose, Duvall all charge back out onto the racetrack, and now we thought maybe they'd pop back in for service. Not so.
Not so. It's a little just past, outside the fuel window to get to the end. So, the guys would have to stop one more time. So really, it's just a matter of get inside that fuel window and be comfortable enough on your tires to run to the checkers, barring a midway caution through that run. So really, for these drivers up front, it's just a matter of just waiting it out just a little bit. The lucky dog driver that last time by is going to be the 09 of David Rattler. He was given the lucky dog pass, and he'll finally find himself back on the lead lap after early race trouble.
So those guys that come down to the pit lane going to find themselves very close on the field. There'll be about 50 laps to go when we go back green. So with that in mind, they might be good to the end of this one. But Brian, as a driver, we talked about how this final, stint from the most recent caution flag before this, 60 laps, that's beyond the fuel window. So it looks like the idea would be amongst these guys to maximize the tire usage is not pit now and then stretch it 50 laps, but take the 60 laps and maybe try to split it in half.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what you'll see them do. But I also think, as a driver, that this is not going to be the last caution we're going to see tonight. The old saying is cautions breed cautions, and since we've had that first caution, we've had quite a few, and I just don't think we've seen the last one. So I don't think we're going to even have to worry about fuel mileage at this point. I think you're just going to be concerned about getting tires on the cars after several laps. I don't know. They're getting more excited, they're getting more anxious, and they're starting to be more aggressive out there, and that's going to create more exciting racing, but it's also going to cause more wrecks.
So Schmidt continues to lead in that number 3 machine. The biggest mover is still Alan Bose. Dylan Duvall, though, and Cody Bias, Justin. P9 and P1 on the grid. They're 3 and 4 right now. They're the two constants that we have seen up front all night long. Brandon Schmidt came out of a rocket and has not given up since. Alan Bose has had to work all night to get there, but Duvall and Bias, they've been racing up here all night long. They'll be P3 and P4 for this restart, just in front of a couple of other guys that are trying to join the party at Edson and Lawton. But, Bias as your pole sitter, Duvall's been a top 5 car all night long. We know that those cars have the longevity to stay up here. Schmidt and Bose haven't quite been battle tested quite yet, so I think it'll be fun to see what these guys can do as they line up and make up the front row.
Yeah, well, clean air is just so important, especially with the 2015 Aero package on these Cup cars. And really, the biggest point I have to make, Evan, is the fact that Cody Bias had clean air from, lap 1 all the way to about lap 67 or so. So really, no real challenge for Bias until he got shuffled back into the pack after a poor pit stop. And really, he looks like he has the speed to get back up there, but it's really anybody's guess if he can get around Alan Bose or Brandon Schmidt or whoever's out front.
Getting set for a restart that's going to leave us just 48 laps to go in this race. And what I'm watching for on this restart is whether Dylan Duvall can repay the favor that Alan Bose gave him from 3rd on the last restart and charge to the inside, make the run to 2nd. Pace car leaves the field in the hands of Brandon Schmidt again. He's on the loud pedal. Green flag flies. Back underway. Lap 87 kicks off with the 3 of Schmidt down to turn 1. Cody Bias on the outside of his teammate Dylan Duvall. That's going to be the battle for 3rd. Wheel-to-wheel advantage. Bias off 2.
The 27 is like that high side so far, Jacob. The last 3 restarts, top side has been the place to be for him, and he's made it work. The 42 tries to hang on to the left rear. Not going to be able to do it, though, at a turn number 4. Bias succumbs over the 42. He takes over the number 3 spot. That leaves Duval back in 4th. And side by side behind these guys now as the race leaders scrap it out a little bit in 1 and 2 is the 6 machine top side of Trey Edson. And Josh Berry trying to get back into the party from P3 on the grid. He slid just a little bit in the middle portions of this race. He wants to get back at it.
How about 3 wide back in the pack around 15, 16, 17? Joey Israelson in the 25 was just 3 wide. Jacob Harberts is back there. Timmy Hill is back there. You want to talk about a real hornet's nest. These guys are all over each other, and still Israelson is 3 wide in the middle with nowhere to go. Ryan Borges looking to the bottom of the racetrack.
Borges really kind of wondering if his connection is going to stabilize. 3 wide once again for the same spots through turns 1 and 2, and nobody really gets the advantage. The outside line really starting to shake itself out a little bit. The 8 of Adam Gilliland doing well. The 18 of Damon Burnett running very well up on the high side. The 25 of Joey Israelson doing well, along with the 1 of Timmy Hill. Where did he come from, really? Guys, 43rd to 15th. I mean, almost 30 spots on the racetrack.
Battle for second as we work now. 90 laps. Alan Bowes, Cody Bias is coming to play for the party, and they're really closing now on the back deck lid of Brandon Schmidt. Bias to the inside of Alan Bowes, takes the second spot. He wants to reclaim his spot at the top of the pylon, and now he shifts from the bottom of the racetrack up to that middle group. Oh, almost. I think one car might have gotten into the wall. It looked like it might have been the 46 of Dylan Rafferty. For just a second, it was on the outside of the racetrack. That's going to kill his momentum down the straightaway, and even into turn 1, he got really high, and he's still rim riding. Justin, I'm getting nervous watching him up here.
Yeah, and that's all. Same could be said for the 40 of Josh Lawton. He almost put it in, he almost actually bought the farm out of 2. Almost destroyed that number 40 race car as Josh Berry in the 88. The Speedco Chevrolet entry gets around the 6 of Trey Edson. Now got his sights set on the 21 of Alan Bowes. Remember, Josh Berry came down to get fresher tires. He's about on 7-lap newer tires than the leaders, the 3 of Brandon Schmidt, the 27 of Cody Bias. And Bias is now in the wheel tracks of the 3 of Brandon Schmidt. Battle for the lead entering 3. Can Bias put the move on him coming out of turn 4?
He can't put the move on him if he's driving right in the tire tracks, but he moves up a lane just a little bit, trying to get some momentum. I think at this point, Bias is a little bit better than the 3 of Schmidt, and he's going to cross him up down to the bottom of the racetrack. Schmidt tries to throw the block, can't do it. Bias he touches him. Contact off turn 2. Battle for the lead, wheel to wheel down the back straightaway.
That 27 doing 2 things. He rode the back of the 3 all the way to the corner to maximize the draft, but when he gets into the corner, he's got to jump out of line, get the air to the nose of that car so it sticks. The bottom, though, not working out, partly due to the fact that Brandon Schmidt just rode the middle of the racetrack, so there was no arc into the corner for Cody Bias. That puts him at a big disadvantage, drops back a car length. He has to regroup and go back at it. What that does, it allows Alan Bowes and Josh Berry, P3 and P4, to stay right here in the conversation. It's not a top 2 pull away. Instead, the top 4, just less than half a second, separate them in 3 and 4.
Yeah, how about that battle? All it took was the break in momentum caused by the 3 of Brandon Schmidt and the 27 of Cody Bias, making the ever so slightest bit of contact, Justin, in 1 and 2 last time by, and that's brought Bowes and Berry right up to the back of Brandon Schmidt here. Top 4 running lockstep. Dylan Duval wants to join the party in 5th. Behind them, Trey Edson, Dylan Rafferty looking on the bottom. He was side by side for a minute, almost got to Edson, falls back in line.
Yeah, everybody getting single file for the most part. Dylan Rafferty still running the junior line all the way out by the fence to turns 3 and 4. And as we look back up towards the front, you got to wonder, Jacob, and really this has been on my mind, if you're Brandon Schmidt, he's from Last Row Motorsports. You got Cody Bias from the team beating and banging on you. Are you going to give him that room and be a little bit more respectful, or are you going to run him hard like Matt Kenseth did just with Joey Logano in the Cup Series at Kansas? I mean, really, it's anybody's guess. And if I'm Schmidt, play my cards right. Don't try to burn your stuff up, but if he wants to force the issue, make him earn it.
if I'm Brandon Schmidt, I'm not letting Cody Bias by easy. This is an operation in the team that has dominated the pro level this season between the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series and now the NASCAR iRacing.com Pro Series, Brian. I mean, and if you're Brandon Schmidt, who has never had a lot of success at the pro level, you want your 15 minutes in the spotlight, and the easiest way to do that by winning this race.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely here trying to make a statement. He wants to win this race, and he wants to do it by outrunning the guys that have dominated the Peak Antifreeze Series and this Pro Series so far. I like what he's doing, and I certainly think that's in the back of his head. He wants to beat Cody Bias. He wants to beat the team. And if he can do that, it's going to make a big statement going through the rest of this Pro Series. So I certainly think that's exactly what you're going to see him do tonight. He's got a fast car, and he's been able to compete with Cody. And right now, he's actually pulled away. He's put almost, I would say, about 0.3 of a second on him, maybe 0.4 of a second as they come across the line here. He's put quite a gap on him.
Yeah, he's really blown that gap out. It's almost doubled it. He was almost 0.2 quicker last time by than was Cody Bias. Bias ran a 30.44 and Schmidt a 30.25 on the racetrack. So starting to pull away a little bit in that 3 machine. The problem is you still got 35 laps to go when they come back to the line. Brian, I'll ask you this question now. With the caution laps that they've had since they last pitted, are these guys good to go to the finish on fuel?
I think it's going to be close. I'm not sure that they're going to be safe to go all the way to the finish, but I do believe they are going to be very close. You might see some guys be able to stretch it, but at this point, I don't think you're going to see them make it that far. But again, I don't think we've seen our last caution. I think they're going to have another caution and bunch them back up, and it's not even going to be an issue.
Closing in on it, and as we close in on the final 50 miles of this race, Brandon Schmidt trying to do something that he has only done one other time at the pro level, and that is go to victory lane. He did it in this series in 2013 at Charlotte in the second season of the NASCAR iRacing.com Pro Series. Now he looks to do it for the second time in his career, but behind him, the guy he may have to deal with is coming for third in the wheelhouse of the 21 Toyota of Alan Bowes. Josh Berry's Chevrolet is coming back to life, the 88 to the bottom and to third with 33 laps to go.
And once that car challenged for a second, it was Bias up there. And again, Josh Berry, Alan Bowes, everybody going at it. However, Brandon Schmidt, the number 3 machine up front, now beginning to pull away after he's been able to hold them off. So the question then becomes, did Bias give it a little bit too much, Jacob? We knew he was aggressive, rode the bumper 2 laps, a little bit of contact, hard driving to the inside. Was that his one shot at it? Did he give it a little bit too much? Should he have waited because he's 0.7 of a second back? And we've talked about conserving the tires all night long, something that I think Brandon Schmidt has done better than any other driver. And right now it's paying off for the 3 machine. Give him another 10th.
Yeah, I have to say that I think right now it's the 3's race to lose as they run, but I'm not convinced that Josh Berry has shown all his cards just yet. And look at Berry closing in now pretty mightily on the 27 of Bias. That's going to be a battle for second here in a lap or two. What we're going to do, though, is take our final commercial break of the night, go LSRTV nonstop, and hopefully when we come back, we'll take you green flag all the way to the checkers. Right now, from Homestead Miami Speedway, you're watching Brandon Schmidt lead the NASCAR iRacing.com Pro Series on iRacing Live and LSRTV, the voice of sim racing.
Truex in the outside, contact made, 56 slides it at a 4, who's going to be at the stripe? Dead even, give it to Ryan Truex. Truex is your winner over Tandy.
Welcome back to LSRTV, working lap 107 right now for a lot of these guys. Dylan Duval, currently your race leader. He'll complete another lap this time by. Most of your leaders have just come down pit road. Cody Bias, Brandon Schmidt, Josh Berry, Alan Bowes, who beat those other three off of the pit lane. But as Dylan Rafferty and Dylan Duval go at it for the top spot at the front of the field, we're keeping an eye on fuel numbers and fuel mileage because, Brian Macklin, we're not sure any of these guys that are staying out right now, if they're trying to stay out to the finish, can make it to the end.
Yeah, if they're going to make it to the end, they're going to have to do some extreme saving. I don't think any of these guys can make it to the end on fuel. I think this is going to be a cat and mouse game. I think you might see some of these guys stay out here for quite a while, though, because now that the leaders have come to pit road, now that Cody Bias and Brandon Schmidt and Alan Bowes have come to pit road, they're a lap down. So if a caution comes out, they're going to get trapped. So I think you might see some of these guys stay out there for a while. Some of the guys that haven't had the fastest cars out there or haven't been towards the front most of the night, like Dylan Rafferty, like Trey Edson, like Joshua Lofton, they might hang out there for a while and hope to catch a caution and catch these guys stuck a lap down. That would change the entire complexion of this race and would actually give us possibly a different winner.
So as we continue to watch this, Rafferty has never won a Pro Series event. He started 35th. He leads the party. Right now, though, it's 3 wide. Cody Bias, Josh Berry trying to cut through traffic there in the middle of an absolute disaster zone. Berry 5 wide down the back straightaway. How did he get through?
That was the 42 way checked up on the bottom of the racetrack. Dylan Duval trying to get up to speed. There's nowhere else that he can go. There's no apron. There's grass right there. A great move by Josh Berry. He could have backed out of that, Jacob, and honestly, that probably would have been the smart move, but it would have killed his chances at the win. They took a gamble. It worked, and that deserves a second look.
That deserves a second look, and my heart stopped right there, Justin. This is why the kid has gotten a ride in the NASCAR Xfinity Series. It's because of reflexes and driving talent like that. He was 5 wide and somehow got through on the apron.
Yeah, driving like a man with his hair on fire. Let's use that analogy for a moment. And really, if you're Josh Berry, it's pretty much hope that Cody Bias gets caught up for you to get up there and try to chase him down, because Cody Bias already onto the back bumper and looking to the inside, 3 wide. That would be potentially for the race lead, but everything cycles around and no contender. It's going to be the 27 of Bias on the bottom. Bo's going to be on the high side, and Bias looking to just drive away with this thing as he now works for the provisional lead, as now they work across the stripe side by side. He's going to use Trey Edson as a pick and Bias around Bo's.
The problem is there's still a lot of these guys with 21 laps to go staying out. Edson right now is your leader. So that means that Cody Bias, Alan Bowes have just unlapped themselves. They're back on the lead lap should a caution of some nature come out. Look at Josh Berry drive up the outside. Bowes lost a lot of momentum working around a lapped car right there. And now Berry almost into the fence battle for what would be second right now. It's back outside the top 20. Berry to the bottom.
And it's big that they've gotten themselves back onto the lead lap. Because again, we saw earlier tonight, caution flag comes in the middle of green flag pit stops. Those guys that were stuck a lap down, forced to take the wave by, they're behind everybody else. And you talk about caution. Well, we saw 5 wide when we had those guys up to speed and those guys that weren't at speed trying to blend through each other on the back straightaway. So through all of that, that is what makes this so crucial. So they continue to fight that 21 machine. Now the battle on for about P24 or so. But Jacob, as you mentioned, it would become for second. Josh Berry takes another peek to the inside. The 21, the 88 fighting. Cody Bias not going to complain about that. The number 27 trying to grow a gap. He's back on the lead lap though. So if we were to see a caution, he would be in a better spot.
And we continue to keep an eye on this up front, though, around 11th. David Rattler, Adam Gillel, and Dylan Jones, Simu Ebone, and Hornets Nest battle for the top 10 as Bias closes. They're all fighting for position, and that is all for position inside the top 10. Advantage Gilliland by 7 1/1000ths, but Rattler wants the spot in 1.
Rattler working to the inside. Jones working with Gilliland to the high side, and Rattler going to put his Ford down on the bottom, and Gilliland going to go all the way out to the fence. The 46 of Dylan Rafferty just made it 4 wide, and 4 wide once again out of turn 2. Rafferty trying to pull it, Josh Berry. How did he get through that without dumping everybody?
I've lost words at this point. Meanwhile, Cody Bias almost 2 seconds faster than the race leader per lap. It's down to 25 seconds. The problem would be he would need check that, about 15 more laps. At my math, Brian, he's going to get there, but it may not be till about the white flag.
Well, and the issue he's also going to face is as he comes back around, he's going to have to pass all these cars that are still out on the racetrack. That could slow him down and hurt his progress. So it's not just a matter of how fast he's going right now. It's going to be how fast he can cut through the traffic and not lose time while doing so. If he loses any time at all, it's going to kill his chances of catching Trey.
And the gap closes now to 23.4. He's a minimum a second and a half a lap quicker. The hard part about it is 10 laps is 15 seconds. Right now we've got 16 laps to go. Oh, it's gonna be close, Evan. If he's gonna get there, he may almost need a little bit of help from Edson running out of gas.
And we've seen this exact same picture play out in this series before at this exact same racetrack. It's what Homestead provides these drivers the ability to do. Some of that's the track, some of that's the green flag condition, but sometimes it just seems coincident that you get the caution flags when it allows these guys to take gambles. You like that, though. You like to see the split strategy, and that's what you're getting a mireful of right now at the moment. Edson out front, he's battling to hold off the 54 of Jacob Harperts. We were watching that melee, though, for P10. By the way, that's not done. The 03 still topside of Dylan Jones trying to hold off Team Uevonen and company. One driver that absolutely put a number to these guys, getting around them, getting back to the lead lap. One of the cars that had already come down to the pit lane, Justin Jacoby, 38th on the grid, 30th on track now, so by no means a faster car overall by these guys on the long run in terms tonight, but because of those fresh tires, you saw how quick he was. You have the ability to make the moves. Are you brave enough to do them?
And now the question is, other than Trey Edson, who else is brave enough to stretch it and see if they can go all the way to the end on fuel? Right now, Cody Bias is pinned in the 23rd position. He continues to make up time. The gap is down to 18.8 seconds. Battle for the lead, though, while Edson's saving fuel. He's got to hold off the hounds behind him. Sasha Wessler would like to win this race, and Wessler down to the bottom of the racetrack on lap 122, going to take it with 12 to go.
And as the 54, Jacob Harperts now works to the inside of the Clemson Toyota of Edson. It's going to be no contest from the 6 of Edson. He's in full conservation mode, just trying to make it to the checkers. And if you're Sasha Wessler, do you think you have enough in the tank to get there? Because as it stands right now, Cody Bias not going to get there in time as we're working around next time by. It's going to be 11 laps to go and a second and a half a lap. He's going to run out of time. Oh, caution on the speedway.
Are you kidding me? That's with 11 laps to go, Evan, and we got a huge mess. Brad Davies.
One of the names in that as well, and the 82 machine involved in this accident also, so the caution flag is out, and we were talking so much about the fuel strategy. Now those guys that look like they may have just set up the race-winning strategy are at a huge disadvantage if they don't get tires. We take a look at the replay now. We've done 5 wide. This 4 wide gone wrong, though. The 92 just squeezed out of room there, and it looked like it was the 7 who got either really tight or really loose, but way up the hill on the exit of turn number 2, Jacob went Billy Price. He went up, he tagged the 8 of Gilliland, and it turned a whole bunch of cars around with him.
And how about this? Sasha Wessler stays out as everybody else goes to the access road. Edson coming down, Harbert's coming down, Lawton coming down, most of the rest of the field coming down, Andy Kessler, but the 31 stays out. Trey Edson's heading your way.
Yeah, the 6 of Trey Edson's going to lead the way down the field right now. The 54, Jacob Herbert's right behind him. Everybody coming down. Cody Bias as well, coming down pit road. So it looks like pit road open. Everybody's going to take advantage right now. They're going to definitely make sure they have fuel to make it to the end. 4 tires, the 6 of Edson having a great stop right now. He's coming out. Looks like the 27 may have took 2 tires. Down to you, Cisco.
Yeah, it looks like I'm also seeing the one car, I believe, also took 2 tires. That was to be Hill. So a couple of these guys who are running 9th, 10th, and 11th, that's really going to help them out. And that's especially going to help out the guys who were waiting for that caution. So it should be interesting now to see who's got the advantage on those fresh tires.
All right, this is going to be fun because you got 2 tires versus 4 tires versus potentially no tires. Justin Rosenau, you think big junk is about to ensue on this restart. I hate to tend to agree with you, but
the fact of the matter remains, I mean, we've seen the nonsense that went on with you guys, 2 seconds a lap on old tires versus 2 tires. These guys are going to be about a second off the 4-tire guys per lap, roughly in the ballpark. So really, I mean, you're going to have guys going forwards, backwards, and God knows where on the racetrack. And really, I hate to say this because I really want to see how crazy this thing's going to get to the checkers. But I really think that it's going to be, all signs are going to point to a shootout in the Old West, except we're down in Florida doing it in the Glades. And I got to tell you, Jacob, I think we're going to end this one under caution, unfortunately.
oh, I wouldn't be so sure about that just yet. Keep in mind, we are going to set up for a restart with, I want to say 7 or 8 laps to go here, and that does give us time to at least set it up, have another caution, and still potentially have a green-white checker. Now, am I saying there might not be a caution on the 2 or 3 lap dash? Well, yeah, one of those, but it's possible. Meanwhile, though, up front, you've got 2 guys that are looking for, Sasha Wessler looking for a first ever NASCAR iRacing.com Pro Series victory, and I'm going to have Andy Kessler down on pit road, pull out the stat books and see here. I'm not so sure that Justin Trombley has a Pro Series victory either. It may be a case of the entire front row for this restart looking for a big win.
Yeah, all these guys, we're checking through the record books, but all 3 of these guys taking a gamble, staying out off of pit road here, this latest caution. Going to try and give it everything they got. The only thing they got for him is the track position, plus with everybody jumbled up behind him with the closing laps. If we do get a caution here fairly early, it's going to be close to get this thing back restarted since we don't have the green-white checker. So a little bit of strategy playing out with these guys. The way they look at it, what's the worst that can happen? Maybe a top 10 for them, which in the point standings will be a good night for them anyway. So taking the gamble, trying to get one of these big wins.
And Cody Bias is pinned in 23rd, Evan, for this restart. That caution really screwed him out of a shot to go to victory lane, because now he's pinned all the way back in traffic, and there's a lot of guys on some on 4 tires behind him. I have no clue what strategy is going to work. All I know is there's 2 guys I'm watching on this restart. The 3 of Brandon Schmidt, the 88 of Josh Berry.
I don't get the idea why those guys came down to the pit lane, because if you're up front, you can play defense, but you're not going to pass 21 cars. So not a fan of the call, but you've dug yourself the grave. You got to work with it now. The pace car going to dive down to the safety of pit road. It's Sasha Wessler's field to command. Green flag flies, back and away we go. Not a good start by Trombley. Top side, it checks the outside up.
And those 2, both Wessler and Trombley, fighting for their first series win. Brandon Schmidt looking for just his second. Schmidt goes to P2 on the racetrack. Sasha Wessler out front, far wide, big trouble off 2. Big wreck back in the pack. We stay green for the moment. They're caution. Spinning now. The caution flag. Now the caution flag is out, just as Schmidt was going for the lead.
He had just looked to the inside, Jake, when the caution came out. That saved him because Sasha Wessler was so sideways off the corner.
The 09 of David Rattler checked up, and just 3 and 4 wide there as everybody tries to go around the 09, and unfortunately everybody just runs out of space on the racetrack on the high side. The 6 of Trey Edson, an innocent victim in that. He's going to get heavy damage on that Clemson Toyota. He come down and took 4 tires, was positioned well to rock it up to the front. But how about the restart by Brandon Schmidt? Yeah, he got checked up by the 17 of Justin Trombley, but he finds himself in second here with possibly a green-white checker left to go, and really, or a 1-lap dash. So if you're the you're the 3 of Brandon Schmidt, you position yourself quite well, but you also have to worry about the 21 of Alan Bowes because he's going to be right in your tire tracks, and he's got a legit shot at this thing.
Sasha Wessler could well be in the driver's seat depending on how this goes, Brian. I mean, the one thing Wessler might be hoping for is that they crash, you know, once they throw the green flag, that they crash before they get to the start-finish line, and that would actually freeze the field no matter what with him out front.
Yeah, I mean, this definitely worked in his favor, having the caution happen as soon as they got going there. That's less laps he's got to try to fend off these guys with fresh tires. I don't know that he can hold off Brandon Schmidt if they have a full restart and can actually make it past the start-finish line, but I know for one thing, he's going to give it his all. He's not going to give Brandon Schmidt anything. He's going to go out there and try to win this race. I do believe he is winless so far in the Pro Series, so what a big way this would be, or a big win this would be if he could come away with it.
So what do you do now, guys? Evan, you know what do you do setting up for this restart? If you get one lap, all you have to do is make it to the line, and it runs back green to the finish no matter what. If you get a green-white checker here, which is what I'm thinking we may end up with, you've got a chance that this race ends under caution. So, you know, you've really... This is a tough deal right now for some of these guys, because depending on how this shakes out, you may only get about 500 yards to try and take the win before it's over.
Yeah, and Sasha Wessler's not complaining about that, by the way, at all, because we talk about the drivers on no tires, the drivers on 2, and the drivers on 4. Well, that's exactly what you saw back in the pack is, I mean, your race leader right now, Sasha Wessler, he just about walled it at a turn 2. The 31 is not as fast as the 3, but Brandon Schmidt is going to find himself on the outside of the front row. It's better than what it was on this most recent restart, because we saw top side of P2, didn't get a good jump at a turn 4. So for Brandon Schmidt, the biggest thing he is hoping for is that car that has been strong all night long, he needs to get a jump on the restart. Sasha Wessler, you cannot afford to spin the tires at all, but you're right, it could be just 500 yards. If I'm Sasha Wessler, I can't be thinking about what happens once we get down the back straightaway. I know you don't want to see cautions, Jacob, but Sasha Wessler wants a caution. You know, you go into turn 1, you get your restart, and you hope that it falls in your direction. The caution flag might have been good for you, it might have been bad for you overall, but you have a guy in the number 3 of Brandon Schmidt who has been one of, if not the best car all race long right now, in second spot as far as improving over the course of a run. So that car's at the best it's been all night. He's behind you. You got a determined Alan Bowes, and as well Joey Israelson and Justin Trombley, P4 and 5. Don't count these guys out either if we see something happen in front of them.
Exactly right. Let's take a final trip down pit road before we go back green, and I imagine, Andy Kessler, that the time for talk is over for Sasha Wessler. The crew knows it's in the hands of their driver now, and they've got to be hoping he can pull a rabbit out of the hat.
Yeah, they're all down here standing on the wall, getting ready for what could be a good thing for Sasha Wessler. The crew right now just excited, kind of with the fingers crossed behind the back, just really hoping things turn out the way they want them to. They've had a good car, decent all night. Definitely didn't run where they wanted to all race long, but they're happy where they're at this position, and they're looking at the big picture.
And, you know, that Brandon Schmidt, he's definitely got the 4 tires right now, so I don't know. I think he's my pick here, but he's got to get it done quick.
He does have to get it done quick. This is it right here. Green, white, checker, 2 laps, 3 miles to glory, and we can only crown one winner. Everybody's already come over the radio and said, get ready for the fireworks, because something big is about to happen. We just don't quite know what it is. Sasha Wessler on the inside has never won a Pro Series race. Brandon Schmidt hasn't won one in 2 years. Back to the American Ethanol green flag, and Wessler gets a good restart, but Brandon Schmidt right there, top side, 2 laps to glory, and Schmidt trying to make the run down to turn 1. How about Joey Israelson, the 25, up to 3rd. His Ford wants more. Brandon Schmidt wants the lead on 2, 3 wide.
The 31 just doesn't have the speed. 3 wide now, 4 wide to the bottom. There's the caution, though. It's over. And that 3 of Brandon Schmidt with a pass in 1 and 2. He'll get the job done as they pile in down the back.
Yeah, and that was a mess down the back straightaway, but Brandon Schmidt doesn't care what it was. He comes around to the yellow and the white flags, and he will see a pleasant sight, because that means no matter what this race is done, he is the leader. And it all started around the 09 of David Rattler again. At the end of it all, though, as we work down and start to form up behind the pace car for the final time, they come through a gigantic cloud of smoke on the back straightaway. Joey Israelson in the Infinite Creative Solutions Ford made a daring dive 3 wide, almost got to Schmidt to maybe challenge him for the lead, comes up in second. But Brandon Schmidt, the Intimidator Special, you'll take a look at the replay as Schmidt works through 3 and 4 and get to see exactly how this broke out one more time off the exit of turn number 2. But as Brandon Schmidt comes off turn number 4, the sight he wanted to see for the second time in his NASCAR iRacing.com Pro Series career, checkered flag first. Brandon Schmidt, a winner at Homestead.
Getting the job done. The odds were stacked against him. He was not in a good spot coming up to the final 2 restarts. He gets the job done, and he makes that pass on the top side of the racetrack. Wessler was able to hang on till he came at a turn number 2. It was the same song and dance for the penultimate caution flag. The car got sideways. The yellow saved him. That time, the caution didn't come till turn number 3, and at 3 of Brandon Schmidt knew exactly what he was doing. He didn't duck in line. He didn't try to get below him. He knew exactly what that machine in front of him would be handling like. He kept that car topside, didn't budge, and ran his line through 1 and 2 to make the pass that he set him up beautifully for it.
This is a big night. 41st start in the NASCAR iRacing.com Pro Series for Brandon Schmidt. His second career victory in the series. The Intimidator Special gets it done as Schmidt gets to burn it down here on the front straightaway. He wins at Homestead, and he's earned this celebration. We'll hear from him coming up right after this, right now on iRacing Live and LSRTV. You're watching the NASCAR iRacing.com Pro Series from Homestead Miami Speedway. Brandon Schmidt, your winner. We're back after this.
It's been a very long offseason. Teams have changed, sponsors have changed, colors and all, but one thing that hasn't, they like to mash the loud pedal. Green flag is out on the 2015 NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series season.
iRacing is the ideal platform for these broadcasts because we have the best racers, the best online racers in the world, and we have such a variety of racing, from NASCAR to Grand Prix style racing, sports car, endurance racing. We do it all.
Since 2010, the iRacing.com World Championship Grand Prix Series has been the absolute pinnacle of road racing in a simulated form. Great start then by Yakoda from the front. They're packing up behind number 1. They're going to be 4 wide as they come down into turn number 1 for the first time. Will they make it through that first corner? You can see them funneling through the center S's. It looks as though everyone is just about made it through. We have got ourselves some contact though, Rachel.
Side by side going into turns 3 and 4. Humpy's got the advantage with Ottinger's not going to.
Oh, he got into him!
Ottinger gets into the 58, turns right into him, and that ends Ottinger's run.
We do a lot of live broadcasts now. Every Tuesday is NASCAR night, so on alternating Tuesdays we do the Peak Antifreeze Series, and on the other Tuesdays the B-Class Series, which is the Xfinity cars, and sometimes we'll even do some short track racing depending on the schedule. Every other Saturday we do the iRacing World Championship Grand Prix Series, so the best road racers we have. And we also broadcast some special events, including the Endurance Championship, which is part of the Road Warrior Series. So we broadcast the Daytona 24, the Sebring 12 hour, we'll do the Watkins Glen 6 hour, several other races along there. And then of course the iRacing Pro Racing Champions, which is usually our biggest and most watched event of the year.
That is short track racing, and that's how awesome this sim is, Joe. That's something you see on TV on highlight reels, and we just saw it here, live.
We invite iRacers who are real world racers, and they compete every December. Guys like Alex Gurney, Justin Wilson, Scott Speed, Ron Capps, the list goes on. Really some big name drivers from all major forms of motorsport. It's really neat to see them get together and race together.
See Laughlin up top, down to the ball, gets turned! Laughlin gets turned! Caution is out foul at the front of the field!
The easiest place to find the broadcast is on our website, iRacing.com/live. So you can find some of our races on fanschoice.tv as well. A nice place to find iRacing broadcasts. You can also find it at mrn.com and peakauto.com.
Championship leader has taken over. Vincent holds a 22.5 second.
in the outside, contact made, 56 slides it at a 4, who's going to be at the stripe, dead even, give it to Ryan Truex. Truex is your winner over Tandy.
Monza is a very historic track. It's been around since the 20s, and it's gone through several permutations since then. We're also bringing forward a number of configurations. So there's chicanes that they've installed since the track's early days. So they can use original, very high-speed configurations of the track where the cars would just blow through where the chicanes are today, or they could use a more modern version. So it's a pretty cool, compelling track. The unique thing about Monza is it has a road course, but it also has a high-speed oval, and that high-speed oval can be run by itself. The Grand Prix course can be run by itself, and they also can be run together in a combined circuit, which is very unique and special in motorsports. This was one of the more challenging projects that we've undertaken. It was essentially building 2 tracks in one. It took a lot of time and a lot of care was put into it, but we're really happy about the end result and we think that people have a lot of fun driving it.
We welcome you back live to the virtual Homestead Miami Speedway as round number 3 in the 2015-2016 NASCAR iRacing.com Pro Series comes to a close. Homestead Miami, very kind to Brandon Schmidt. This one was a wild one through some late race caution flags, a little bit of carnage tossed in there also. Schmidt picks up his second career NASCAR iRacing.com Pro Series win, and we welcome you into the LSRTV post-race show. Get into victory lane in a moment. Until then, though, Cisco Scarmuza on the pit lane caught up with our 4th place finisher tonight, the 54 of Jacob Harberts.
Yeah, I've caught up with Jacob Harberts down here on pit road, driving the number 54 Purple Owl Photography Ford Fusion. And Jacob, you started 18th, came through the field a couple times. Talk us through your race, bud.
I know as soon as I got into the session and I saw Overcast that it would help us out a lot with the setup, and sure enough, was quickly working my way up through the field. Had a couple green flag runs, and at the end, I saw that I was good on fuel, so I was just going to run it out. I thought if it stayed green that I would have ended up winning. It looked like I was faster than Eidson for a while, but Wessler came and passed us, and then the caution came out, which really made me nervous. So I decided to take 4 tires, which helped me out a lot. I had to restart P10, which was definitely worried about getting wrecked, but ended up getting up to 6th in that final restart, and then moving up to 4th, which I think if it would have stayed green, I could have gotten the win.
Well, you definitely had a strong car tonight. You mentioned that the overcast weather did help you out a bit. What else helped you out tonight?
Definitely the guys over at Apex Motorsports Group. We worked really hard in the setup all week, and just hours of testing. It definitely helps out with them.
All right, anyone? Now I guess I'm going to send it over to, I believe, Andy Kessler, who's caught up with someone.
Yep, I'm down here on pit road right now, just caught up with the 3rd place finisher here tonight in the 21 Drakentech.com Toyota Camry. That's Alan Bowes. Alan, 3 starts tonight, or 3rd start this season, and your 3rd top 5. You got to be pretty excited, you and your team, how this season started off for you guys.
Oh yeah, it's definitely been a lot better than previous seasons. It seems like we're finally getting the luck that we need. That last pit call that we made to stay out on 15-lap old tires, that was a gutsy one, but it paid off in the end.
Yeah, we talk about that. Obviously, coming up short so far this season on the victory side of things, but running up front like this with the top 5s week after week, as long as you guys continue to put yourselves in that position, the wins are going to come for you guys. You just got to be patient, right?
Oh yeah, no doubt. I mean, eventually it'll get to the point where we'll hit on something, and we'll be one of the fastest cars. Tonight, we really didn't have what we thought we were going to have, but we somehow stole a P3 out of it. Definitely happy about that coming into this race. I was expecting it to be my drop, but it feels good to get the top 5s, but I definitely want to win.
I'm sure of it. Everybody out here wants to get that big victory and get that lap around in the victory lane here at any one of these races. A short season, 9 races, obviously 3 down. You talk about a drop week coming in here. To have this great of a start like this, definitely got to relieve some pressure as far as that end, and definitely for your team itself to be able to know that you still kind of have that in your back pocket if needed, if something arises, especially at a track even that you might be labeled as one of your better or favorite tracks here coming up on the schedule.
Yes, considering that we got our finishing position that we got tonight, that it definitely relieves a lot of pressure knowing that we still have a backup, and all we got to do is just be consistent. If we don't get a win,
it's not going to be the worst thing. But if we can keep getting the top fives, we'll be there for the championship. And right now that is my main goal, just to focus on the championship.
Well, unofficially, after this finish here tonight, it's gonna unofficially it's gonna put you in that championship position there in the top spot for the time being. But there's a lot of people I'm sure you want to thank. Sponsor shout-outs. Who helped you get here each week?
Well, I definitely got to thank Drac and Tech being the main sponsor on the car. Said it before, if you guys need a good paint scheme, you can hit up John Dragonetti on Facebook, Twitter, or you can head over to his website at dracantech.com. He's a very good guy to work with, and he'll do pretty much anything that you want. I got to thank RAR Chevette. He's been through a lot with us and came on board as a spotter for this season. He's done a great job so far. I couldn't have asked for a better spotter. I got to thank CFI for being on the car, my team Dead Zone, and Houston Hamer put together a very nice setup for us that it's a little bit better than I think we would have done had he not been there to help. I got to thank Blake, Bryant, Jeff Ramsdale, Ian Plash, Justin Linger, Brandon Hoff, Logan Clampin, and my man Shane Doherty, who got his best finish ever in a Black Stripe Series with P7 tonight.
Well, there you have it, our third place finisher here tonight in the 21 machine. Alan, congratulations. Good luck in the weeks to come.
Thank you.
All right, there you have it, third place finisher Alan Bowes. And now we're going to shift a little bit further down pit road. I believe Justin has caught up with our second place finisher.
Alongside the driver, the number 25, a very unexpected finish of sorts. Joey Israelson comes home second after finishing 27th in week 1 at Texas. Joey, I know it was a hard-fought battle there, and you certainly had a shot for the win. I know you needed about, a half a lap or so in order to get past the winning car of Brandon Schmidt?
Yeah, we got a little checkup going into one, and kind of ruined my momentum. But that car was on a rail this whole race. And after not even qualifying last week, I knew I had to do something good. And I think we did.
Well, certainly, one DNQ so far that's going to end up being the drop for weeks 1 through 7. You sit just outside the top 20. You're in 21st in points with no drops figured in. So you really look good going forth. More consistent finishes for you, Joey. What's the outlook going forward, especially going into next week?
We're just trying to keep the speed up. The whole team has been working really hard. The team and HPM, working every day on the setup. We're just going to keep on trying these top fives.
Top fives is where you would like to have been for Texas. You did it here at Homestead. Looking forward to next week. Really kind of a tough track for most people. Auto Club Speedway, a very wide track, kind of similar to Homestead, how everybody can search for grooves on a racetrack. What's the outlook for you, the driver, that number 25?
Oh, I'm really excited. I love these switching lanes, going inside, outside. It makes it way more fun, interesting. Got to save them tires too, and it was fun. Good race.
Can't do it by yourself. Congratulations on the runner-up spot, Joey. Who makes it happen for you there on the number 25?
Oh, everybody on HPM and the team, they threw together an awesome setup week after week, and I could finally drive it to the full capabilities, so they did a hell of a job.
That's the guy who finished second, the 25 at Joey Israelson. Congratulations to him. We're going to send it on down the track. Jacob Tillman, you caught up with our winner, Brandon Schmidt. You're down in Gatorade Victory Lane.
Yes, I am, and what a night it's been. What a race for Brandon Schmidt, who really had to fight his way back to the lead, led a huge stint in the middle of this race, and then has to do it on a green-white checker, second career NASCAR iRacing.com Pro Series win for you. First one in 2 years, Brandon, but this one was extremely hard fought. Talk about the dash, first off. I know you knew you could have 500 yards or 2 laps, and you got about half a lap, and you got it done.
Yeah, I was really heartbroken to see that yellow fly, but it helped having Sasha, my teammate, up there on the front row with me, and he knew too that he was on really old tires, way older than mine, Like you said, I just needed to get a good restart, and I figured I could clear them through 1 and 2. We're up higher on the bottom. Did, and fortunately the yellow flew, but that's right. Take it.
I know you'll certainly take it. A win is a win, and you get the black number 3 to victory lane tonight, but I think even more importantly, you put yourself in a solid position in points to be able to advance back up the ladder to the Peak Series. A third of the season already done. You know, we're almost halfway through the drop period. How big is it for you, for this team, to be able to build some momentum with this win tonight?
Oh, it's huge. The goal is top 20 in points, obviously, like, everybody knows, and the wins are awesome, but just got to be consistent. It's not a very long season, and 2 or 3 bad races will roll really quick, and the farther we go on with the season, it's a lot harder to make up the. For once, it's really good to start out pretty strong. We had a really bad race in Phoenix. This forever now, so
you get it done. Now we head to Auto Club next week. A completely different animal than this Homestead track tonight, but I know you can't do it by yourself, Brandon. Sponsors, shout-outs, supporters, who do you need to thank? Who makes it happen for the 3 crew?
yeah, obviously everybody at LRM. Been with them for a couple years now, and greatest group of guys to spotter, obviously Nate Choder, Eddie Collins of GunnerForSR.com. Awesome.
It's a solid night. Brandon Schmidt gets it done, gets a win, and I know, Brandon, you're going to be probably celebrating this into the rest of the night, but just as quickly as you get it, you're going to be looking ahead to next week. We'll see you in a week's time at Auto Club.
Yeah, will do, and also, obviously, you guys too for broadcasts on there. Very professional, and I wish someday you guys can.
And we appreciate that. That's it from down here in Gatorade Victory Lane. Brandon Schmidt, your winner, and I'm going to send it back down onto pit road. We're going to continue our run through tonight's field with our 5th place finisher. Evan Pasoko has made it down trackside with Sasha Wessler.
Caught up with your 5th place finisher tonight. The number 31 comes home with a top 5 at the Homestead Miami Speedway. But Sasha, it looked like for a moment there, it could have been so much more. Coming to a late race restart there. One time we get the caution flag that set us up for that green-white checker scenario there. Caution comes just before the 3 gets the upper hand of you. That time, though, just didn't have enough on that 31 machine left to hold him off. And you come home with a P5, so it's still a very good finish for you. But talk us through the strategy going into that, trying to stay out on fuel, coming down to the pit lane, and then walk us through what happened there at the end.
Yeah, first time I want to thank PJ for crew chiefing and Casey for spotting. It was an awesome race. The car was on rails. It was so fast in the long run, but I think I changed my tires on lap 82, and yeah, it was done. The tires was done. So I couldn't hold Schmidt off, and yeah, I'm happy with my P5.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a good finish for you guys with the fast car all night long after qualifying in P11 out of 5. What are you thinking there at the end of this race, knowing that those guys are going to be quick behind you approaching those final restarts?
I think about nothing. I drive. So, PJ, Casey told me what I must do, and I drive. That's all. And yeah. Now I'm tired. It's 5 o'clock in the morning, and I go to bed.
I feel you on that one. Well, hey, it's your first top 5, first top 10 on the season. And again, tonight, round number 3 and 9, already moving on. Tonight, a big step for you guys moving forward to get to the ultimate goal, and that's a top 20 to make it to the 2016 NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series. Sponsors and shoutouts, who makes it happen for you?
Yeah, first I want to thank JBR Chassis for the advice on set, and PJ for helping tweaking it, and Jolly's World for get on the car, and yeah, I want to thank the whole team and my wife for supporting me, and yeah.
Well, tonight, a good team effort. You're up to 13th in the points after Homestead. Go get some rest, my friend. Congratulations. We'll see you in Fontana next week.
Thanks, and have a good one.
Your 5th place finisher tonight, Jacob. 5 in the morning to get a P5 tonight, Sasha Wessler. What it could have been, but still satisfied with a great team run for the number 31 machine.
It absolutely was. And as Wessler is happy with a P5, one more driver that I know is extremely happy, and we want to get a chance to catch up with him one more time. We'll throw it up pit road a couple of stalls and see if we can't get Brian Macklin, who I think is standing by with the guy who is tonight's LSRTV hard charger of the race, 39th to 7th for Shane Doherty.
Yeah, I've caught up with your 7th place finisher, Shane Daltrey. You came all the way from the 39th position up into the top 10. Tell us about that drive up into the top 10 and how hard it was for you to pass all those cars and get up there.
Yeah, definitely, Brian. Went out there today. Didn't get the qualifying one we wanted. Qualified 39th. Definitely not what we can do, at least in qualifying. Could have got a lot better. But early on in the race, we kind of just laid back and let things come to us and got some spots early on. Had a caution there, really put us back in the race, and I think the cautions really kept us in the race all day. We're able to make some nice adjustments, really get through the wrecks as well, allowed us to get the finish position that we wanted.
And that perseverance is certainly going to be helpful for you trying to make it into the Peak Antifreeze Series. We look ahead to next week at Auto Club. Do you think you're going to have the same kind of speed you had in the race tonight next week at Auto Club, or do you think you have some work to do going into that race?
So far, the first couple races I've done at Auto Club's been pretty good. I mean, I think I'm confident the guys and I at Dead Zone Racing will be able to put together a nice setup and go out there, qualify hopefully better, and obviously race just as well as we did tonight and get the finishing that we want as well. So I think we're going to be just fine. Just keep doing the work we've been doing.
All right, and real quick before we do let you go, just want to give you a chance to thank your sponsors and say hi to any friends and family that are watching.
Yeah, definitely. I got to thank all the guys, Dead Zone Racing. I'll get to them in a second, but also some sponsors, Checkered Flag Interactive. You can check them out at checkeredflaginteractive.net, or you can Google their Facebook page. We do broadcasts for leagues. Always awesome there. And also the American Childhood Cancer Organization. It's a nonprofit that I have in the car this season. Tommy Burns, Catherine Murphy. They do some pretty amazing work over there for children battling with cancer. So just thought I'd raise some awareness for that cause, and definitely continuing with that so far. Then obviously all my teammates, Dead Zone Racing, Jeff Ramsdell, Alan Bowes, Blake Bryant, Brian Lowe, Logan Clampett, Brandon Hoff, and then also some of the setup guys that really put this car together week in and week out. Houston Hammer, Dustin Lingert, also John Dragonetti does all the paint schemes for us. So it's pretty awesome to see those guys contributing and full fold, and I think we're really doing well. So we'll see what we can do.
All right, that is your 7th place finisher, Shane Daltrey, the hard charger for tonight here at Homestead, coming from 39th to 7th and having an impressive drive all night long. Now, Jacob, back up to you, and we're going to close this thing out, I do believe.
Yeah, we will, but to do that, we'll start by taking a look at tonight's full field rundown. Evan and I will hear up in the tower. Brandon Schmidt, again, the victory tonight in a big, big way. Joey Israelson, the heroic drive to almost get it, comes up second. Alan Bowes third, Jacob Harbert's fourth, Sasha Wessler fifth. You heard from all of them. Ryan Borges, I want to give a call to that young driver, coming to sixth, the New Englander. Shane Doherty seventh, Justin Trombley eighth, Andrew Fash the third, after 37th on the practice charts and being a lap down early in the race for an unscheduled pit stop. He finds a way to get back to ninth. And Josh Berry, who came in as the points leader, he and Alan Bowes going to be fighting it out for that top spot, Evan. But a top 10 tonight rounds out your front 10.
And just outside in P11, Timmy Hill tonight from 43rd to 11th, picks up 32 spots over the course of the race. Just behind him, a good run for Dick Furler, who comes home in 12th. Thomas Davis in 13th. It's a 14th for Dylan Jones, and Alex Ward, who dropped back early, is able to walk away with the P15 when it's all said and done. Byron Daly, great night from one of the back rows on the grid, to 16th tonight. David Rattler and Dylan Duvall must settle for 17th and 18th after being top 10 cars at the start of the race. Dylan Rafferty comes home at 19th, and as well rounding out your top 20, the 02 of Blake Bryant.
Yeah, how about 21st, the 23 of Brandon Hoff, Nicholas Johnston, 22nd tonight, 23rd, the 18 of Damon Burnett, Robin Williams, 24th, and Greg McKinney, the last car on the lead lap in 25th. Don't know that we said his name all night long. Cody Bias, 26th after starting on the pole tonight. Really tough break for him late in the go-in. That late race caution really caught him off strategy. Josh Lawton, 27th, Timu Ivonen, 28th, Jeff Ram still 29th, Ryan Lowe, 2 laps down, Evan in 30th.
Continuing on through for all of the drivers that finish a couple laps down in this one. 31st for Billy Price, Jason Jacoby in 32nd, 33rd to Paul Kashiba, Trey Edson in 34th, and 35th for Brad Davies. Michael J. Johnson, 36th, connection problems plague Tyler Laughlin, who comes home in 37th, 38th to Adam Gilliland. Logan Clampett involved in an accident settles for 39th, 40th for Kyle Putson and Mitchell Hunt. Rob Ackley and Stephen Gilbert come home 41, 42, and 43 to round out your field.
Well, as we get set to say goodnight from the Homestead Miami Speedway, Evan, it was an exciting race, but I know this much. We got more exciting programming coming up the rest of this week and into next week on LSRTV before we return for round 4 of the NASCAR iRacing.com Pro Series from Fontana next week, Tuesday.
We talk about Homestead, normally a place to wrap up seasons. Well, coming up on a Monday, the RSR Full Throttle Cup Series does have their season finale. You're not going to want to miss that one. In between now and then, also have a lot of exciting things coming up. Thursday night is Upstate Racing on LSR TV. Friday night, our Rod Car Truck Tour and iSuper Speedway doubleheader. That can be seen on LSR TV and iRacing Live. Saturday nights, we have the United Sim Racing Truck Series. Sundays, it's the Pacific Major Series and actually the season finale this Sunday. Then followed by Monday's RSR Full Throttle Cup Series finale. There's racing almost every single day of the week, and I encourage you to go to livesimracing.com, check out our schedule, as well give us a like and stay tuned at facebook.com/livesimracingtv.
All right, so we close tonight, and again, congratulate Brandon Schmidt, a second career NASCAR iRacing.com Pro Series victory here tonight on LSR TV, and again, back next week, Tuesday, for round 4 of 9 for the 2015-2016 NASCAR iRacing.com Pro Series. You can see it live here on iRacing Live and LSR TV from the virtual Auto Club Speedway in Fontana, California. Right now, though, we close tonight's broadcast from South Florida, and as such, for Evan Pasoko, Brian Macklin, Justin Rosenau here in the booth, Andy Kessler and Cisco Scarmuzza down on pit road, our executive producer Laura Lawson, and Tony Gardner and all the staff at iRacing.com. I'm Jacob Seelman for iRacing Live and LSR TV, reminding you to keep it off the wall until we meet again, and we'll see you next time on the web. Good night from Homestead. Congratulations to Brandon Schmidt.